Yeah. Basically, StreamYard took one look at your
Do I
face and
have
said,
do I
"Nope,
have green hair?
you do." But that's
A green halo.
that 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 is what happens when you do green screen with bad lighting. And I don't know. Maybe
My
we should.
one should be good. I actually now that what you call it has a good um, what's the word I'm thinking of? Has a good adjustment. I'll have to adjust that.
Yeah.
And then they show some actual compared longevity.
So I just hit the go button for pre-show to give people time
Hi,
to
go.
jump in. Oh, this week we're going live on the normal places plus one extra. I plan on discussing something quad related, so I decided why not go live on the Quadcast YouTube channel as well. Yeah, we because there's a dude named Steve, and I every now and then Steve says something and I say something back, and I think at this point he just files anything I say into his trash can, but that's okay. I
All right, Steve.
Steve is well, you know how I am persistent in talking about how awesome quad is. Steve is equally persistent in talking about how much quad sucks.
What's
And
his
it
point?
that
Oh, is he one of those flat Earth? I only have 2 ears nonsense guys.
yes. He is one of those. I like that. We'll have to call those people the flat earthers of the audiophile world.
Yes, right, right.
He didn't
You could
actually.
say you could just say, well, I agree with you because Atmos is so much better.
Well, actually, his video was specifically putting down Atmos. So,
Yet people are still buying surround systems, and they're getting some people are getting the
for
latest and greatest, right?
well, he would make the argument that people that are buying those systems are buying them for movies, not for music. The only person that's actually doing anything as far as mixing surround for modern music is Steve Wilson, and blah 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 yada yada yada. Actually, there's been a lot more going on these days lately, though. Although most of it's coming out in the streaming world. But we got Mod Pro who typed in one, and Racer is number two.
Wow, we have two.
We have two. We have
Hot
two.
dog.
They are
Hey,
ready for
Mod
the
Pro.
show
Hey,
to start.
Racer. So our good friend Dan, who we used to
Dan.
work with, I was visiting his place once, and he had a nice tower speakers, and
Uh-huh.
I can't remember what his receiver was. Really nice, and there was an equalizer in there, and
I got those.
he was totally clueless on how to adjust an equalizer for the sound of the room. I mean, it's not hard.
No.
Trace, try some different
You
things,
you you
make
make a
some
big
adjustments.
old smiley face and then you unplug it and then you throw it in the trash can. No,
Whatever.
that one was for you, Steve.
To hell, him was like bring all the levels up or bring all the levels down. He couldn't tell the difference. It's like,
It's awful. Oh my
yeah, it was
god.
it was pathetic. I felt I couldn't even know I didn't even know what to say. He could have been fucking with me, right? I'm hoping that he was fucking with me.
Some people, turn them all up, crank it.
I mean, he didn't have a surround system, which is fine. A lot of people
That's
don't.
that's that's fine. Yeah.
I have a
Just
surround
don't invite
system
me back.
on my main TV. Yeah, primarily for movies or TV or wherever I get it. It's kind of haphazard whether it's surround or not. I would listen to music that much, but I don't listen to music that much on that machine. So
Hmm.
to Steve's point, Yeah, maybe, but get over it, man. If I had a
Well,
perfect surround system,
well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring up Steve's latest turd in the punch bowl
now
and and
I
and do
think
a reaction to
I
it.
think that the Mustang that I had, I think, it was a 99 Mustang. I think that is the best audio system I've ever had, and it had, I don't know, 7 speakers or whatever. Um, it was not surround. You could tweak the fader from front and rear, left and right, of course, but that's not really surround. You're just engulfed in stereo. Am I right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what
But
the car.
it sounded great. I mean, and I couldn't
That's
isolate what the cost of that system was because came with the car
right.
is an upgraded model, upgraded
Well,
option.
well, that's the next thing I'm going to work on is my car system because my car system is woefully inadequate. I mean, I got the Sony SACD unit in there, and I got the set up to the front and the back speakers with the center and sub turn off. But I keep running into problems where some of the speakers will cut out. And I thought it was the wiring harness because basically I had to buy the adapter for when you take out the stock radio, you got that connector that connects directly to the stock radio, and they sell the reverse connector that goes to bare wire, so that way you can put the connector for your own radio without having to cut wires. And then I got the wiring harness for the Sony SACD radio, and twist the wires together. I them up, I connect it, I get level dropping. And so I figure, oh, it's because I didn't twist hard enough. And so I untape the things, I twist them again, everything looks good, I tape them up, and I still get dropout. So it's like, all right,
So
let's.
you don't really know where the
Well, so then I took the tape off and I got the soldering iron out and I got a nice hot soldering iron on there. Did the whole thing where I am heating the wires, I'm melting the solder onto hot wires, not the iron. It's flowing through all the strands, making a solid connection, tape them all back. I'm still getting dropouts. So I thought, well, it's not that connector because that's probably the strongest point I have because I soldered that mofo good. But then again, anytime I get the dropouts, if I wiggle that wire, they come and go. So I bought a new pair of wiring harnesses for the radio and for the car, and I'm going to solder together a new thing there just to eliminate that because maybe one of my connectors is bad. Maybe I got a bad wire one of those connectors. I don't, and they're like $10 each. So for $20, a whole new pair of connectors, and I eliminate that possibility. Because I'm thinking about buying new speakers for the car, but I don't want to buy new speakers for the car until I'm sure I've worked out my dropout issues.
yeah.
You know, and speaking of speakers for the car, we got Mars here, who's got all kinds of speakers in his car.
All right.
Um, Actually, that car had what, 6 speakers in it?
Oh, there you go.
Two in the
Hexaphonic.
front. It was 6 or 8. I can't remember. It was actually a pretty decent system in that car.
Well, you need that so you can hear where you're going.
If I'm turning the audio up, there's no audio coming out anywhere. And no, that had a pretty
No,
decent system
you
in
need
it.
to disconnect the speakers, roll down the windows so you can hear all the screams and know to steer away from them.
It's funny. Last time I visited my sister, who now has that car. That she has an Alpine in it now.
So you owned a car for a period of time.
I owned a Jag for a while. Yeah,
You owned a.
I owned a Jaguar. Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
drive it?
No, you're saying it not quite right. You got to say I owned a Jag.
Yeah, I had a 2000. What was it? A 2008 Jaguar.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did you drive
I'm
it?
impressed.
I did not drive it. It was parked in my driveway for a total of a week, and then we visited my sister, and my sister visited us, and she took it home. And then last time I saw, she replaced all the part. They basically refixed it, redid everything in it, and it's running really good. They painted it instead of the blue. It's now a black color with I mean, they reconditioned all the leather inside and redid the stereo system, so it's a nice touchscreen Alpine navigation thing, and it's a pretty cool car. It's a pretty cool car. That thing had 375 horsepower in it. It was pretty decent.
I'm disappointed they didn't let you drive it at least once. They could have taken you out to a nice big open parking lot.
Well,
let you get behind the wheel and see what it could do.
We did the trade-in in Tahoe, so yeah. I don't plan on being in the lake. This isn't a DeLorean.
I'm sure they can find a parking lot somewhere.
Well, you know, my sister lives on 10 acres, so next time I visit her.
Oh, there you go. 10 acres. Let's see how
Yeah.
fast you can get it before you get to the end of the 10 acres.
Oh.
Okay, so there is this review of a Marantz SACD player. This is
Okay.
not for the car. That's what I was searching for.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, so I look at this review. It gives it 5 stars.
Mhm.
It's a verified purchase. Okay,
Okay. All right.
5 stars. It must
5
be
stars.
good, right?
It's only stereo?
No, hang on. SAC. The title is SACD support ? Yes ? Multi-channel ? No ! Exclamation point. Okay, now here's the review. If you, like I, are among the very specific subset of victims of technological obsolescence, those are the significant collection of
I'm already
those,
bored.
those
I've
with a
tuned out.
significant. I know. Are we talking about you there, Bill? Johnny?
Sparky, I can't see, so I don't know, but Sparky says, close your legs, Johnny. Close your legs. For God's sake. That's what he said.
I got a keyboard on them. I'm wearing shorts.
I don't know. That's what he's saying. Don't look
Oh
at
my!
me.
Are my knees that sexy that you're that distracted?
I don't know.
Wow.
My process, LOL.
Okay, all right. So let me continue with this.
Continue.
This
I'm sorry.
5-star review, right? Technological obsolescence. Those with a significant collection of those multi-channel SACD discs. This machine will not fill your needs.
Oh.
I ordered it carelessly, assuming that if it supported SACD, naturally it comes to support in multi-channel. In fact, since the demise of OPPO,
Mm-hmm.
Oppo.
Oppo.
Yes.
Oppo.
Oppo. Yeah.
Oppo, what is that?
It's a brand name.
Oppo makes the best SACD player there.
Oh, okay.
Or they did, and then they
and they're
betrayed
gone.
us.
There are simply no remaining SACD players with discrete multi-channel outputs, and you have to go pretty high-end, Macintosh, to find the player that supports SACD with HDMI output. I have rated this product 5 stars, even though I returned it to Amazon unopened.
Well, how do you rate it if you haven't opened it?
I know. So he must have read the fucking manual, right?
Because Marantz paid me to do this. Thanks, Marantz.
It deserves the benefit of the doubt for those who. I mean, to me, it's absurd.
If you didn't open it, don't review it.
It's like
right.
I give the box
and if you
5
hated
stars.
the
How's that?
product, if you hated the product, why are you giving 5 stars?
No, exactly.
No, you can give the box 5 stars. You can't give the player 5 stars.
Yeah. Anyway, I saw that. I was amused. I mean, you could understand. Maybe it's a quality product. It just wasn't good for him. That would be fair, right?
Now
But
Racer,
he didn't even open the frickin' box. So
Racer points out 2 of his cars only has 2 speakers. But anyways, we should open the show.
Heck.
We should open
I
the show.
don't even know how many speakers my current car has. It might have 7 or 8 or 9. It has it's a SUV, so. But again, it's only 2 channels, so
we should open the show.
Yeah.
Let's open the show.
So once again, we're tuned into another fun-filled edition of
Insert title here.
the show that changes dates so frequently we put a placeholder in, and studio audience applause. And I'm your host, Gators, also known as Army of Quad. Also with me is Brian Blues and Sir Bars.
Hey.
And now, and also with us is Sparky Toaster. Let's see. Oppa means big brother, handsome guy. You should know that, Brian, with your Asian wife and all. No, Oppo. O-P-P-O. I have two of them. And I'm glad I have two of them because Oppo decided there's not a market for these players anymore, so we're going to stop making them.
It's a shame. They had really good players.
And now the prices have skyrocketed because there's totally no market for them and no one wants them. Thanks, Oppo. Thanks. But there you go. I got my two, and knock on wood, they're pretty solid. Should last me a while. One for upstairs, one for downstairs. The one that's upstairs is old enough that it'll read ISO images off the USB port. The one that's downstairs is new enough that I can rip SACDs to ISO images. They never made a player that could do both. But there you go. But that's not what we're really here to talk about. We're here to talk about refrigerators.
Refrigerator? You mean that Whirlpool?
You mean the one I'm probably going to have to replace in 6 months? Yeah.
I got to be careful how I tell this story because I certainly would never advocate for like any kind of dishonesty or fraud of any kind. And I'm not saying that that's what happened here. But I will say that going back a while, I did have some problems with my fridge where it was freezing my food. And I did call a repair guy to come out and they changed some parts. And the fridge continued to freeze food. And so I reached out to Whirlpool and I asked them some questions about, well, if the repair guy can't fix it, maybe you could make some recommendations. And they're like, yeah, we can send another repair guy. I'm like, no, I'm done with those idiots. I only trust me. Could you send me like
only trust me.
Well, it's like I pulled an electrician in my house. They gave me a quote. I said yes. They came in. They started working on the quote. Then they came back and they gave me a quote that was twice as much. And then I said that was in addition to the first quote. So I kicked them out and I rewired the house myself. I found out I take the car down the street to the mechanic. They turn off the check engine light. It turns back on. I Google how to fix it. I send it back to them. They call me up. They say they still can't figure out how to fix it. I told them what Google told me, and then they fixed it. You see a theme here?
You know what you should do? You should go to.
I end up fixing my things.
go to Horse and Buggy. That way, at least you can talk to the horse, and the horse will care.
You know what?
It probably will give a shit.
So
literally.
So I decided the fridge repairman that couldn't figure out how to fix my fridge, they basically refunded me more than half of my money. And because I said, well, we did come out and we changed the part. So we're still keeping the money for the second visit and the part that we changed because we actually did that work. But the first visit to diagnose it, we're giving you that back.
That's fair.
Right. So they gave me back the initial. But that was a while back. So then I reached out to Whirlpool to try to get like service manuals and instructions. And they said, well, we only give that to service people. And I said, well, could you transfer me to the phone number that service people call into? And then, they transferred me somewhere else after I badgered them enough. And someone picked up and I said, I'm a totally legit Whirlpool service guy. Can you give me the instructions how to service my fridge? And they didn't believe me. I don't know why they didn't believe me.
Oh, well, I think it was the line that you service my fridge. That was the dead giveaway. You're not really a service guy. You're
repair people don't repair their own fridges. I'm pretty sure the Whirlpool service people repair their own fridges.
Repair guys know better, and they won't buy Whirlpool.
I would beg to disagree. If you don't believe in the product that you work for, then you shouldn't work there. I would never. You know what?
In a perfect world, I totally agree with you. This is not a perfect world, so you're full of crap.
When I worked for Tharco, I believed in our product. I only ever used Tharco boxes because they were free, but also because I believed in the product.
But then again, it's only a frickin' cardboard box. What's the big damn deal?
It's not any cardboard box. It's a quality cardboard box. We get the quality reels of paper right off the train. We mix the chemicals ourselves with the Windows 3.1 terminal.
Yes. Slather on our own starch.
So what happened as a result of calling Whirlpool, asking them for advice on how to troubleshoot fridge problems, I got on Whirlpool's email list. And so Whirlpool, in their infinite wisdom, decided, hey, that guy that called us complaining about his fridge is getting ready to shit the bed, we should send him an email about our extended warranty plan, which was brilliant on their part. Ingenious. So they sent me the email, and I filed that away under things to read later. And I, did some work on the fridge, and I got the fridge to stop freezing food, and I had it stabilized. Working perfectly fine as far as I know. And then I decided, you know what, though? It would really suck if the problem came back. So I should probably get that extended warranty. And I have a feeling if the problem's going to come back, it's probably going to come back pretty quickly. So I should probably only get that extended warranty for 1 year. So I decided to go for it and get the 1 year extended warranty on the Whirlpool fridge for $190 because I figure, one repair is worth that. And not to mention, I'll be going through proper channels. I'll send someone out that actually knows what they're doing instead of the repair guy that I brought in that basically changed the part and said, well, I don't know. Here's half your money back.
Who's selling the warranty? Whirlpool?
Well, they say it's Whirlpool, but then after you buy it, you find out it's AIG. I don't know who they are or how they are associated with Whirlpool, but it's one of those things where you call them up.
They're not a fix-it outfit. So who do they contract to?
AIG. I don't know.
No, AIG is a financial
everything
operation.
will become clear in this story.
It's AIG.
Oh, okay. Let us continue.
So I buy the warranty, and they don't tell you this when you sign up for the warranty, but they tell you this after you sign up for the warranty and send your payment. Is that number one? Any problems that existed before the warranty started, we're not covering, which was fine because I got the freezing to stop. I fixed the problem. Number two,
it is fully functioning, right?
Right. I had that problem solved, and I'm not saying that it involved a method of cutting and reinstating power through a Wi-Fi plug module, but that is one of many options that one could use to deal with fridge problems. But I had a fully functioning fridge.
How does a Wi-Fi module?
Yeah, you get a little plug module that you control with Wi-Fi, so you can use an app to turn it off, turn it back on, set it on a timer, things like that. These things exist.
You have the refrigerator on a device that will turn it off?
Well, if I still had that fridge, I would.
Why?
Well,
I don't want people's food to be cold.
Does it have a thermostat so it
off.
turns itself on and off?
Well, but the fridge was freezing my food, so I fixed the problem.
Oh, that's how you fix the problem. So have to go in
I'm
there.
not
see if the
saying that's
food
how
is
I fix
frozen.
the problem. I'm just saying on the list of options that can fix a problem like that, that is one.
So you just turn off the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If the
For how
refrigerator
long?
won't turn itself off, I'll turn it off for it.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
had the fridge
genius.
working. I had the fridge working perfectly. Harmony. It was
Perfect.
chili
By the way,
You turn it off. That fixes it.
By the way, when you close the refrigerator door, does that light go off, or do you need a remote Wi-Fi device to do that as well?
I turn the fridge back on when it needs to come on, and when the fridge is on, the light works. When the fridge is off, the light don't. That's how it works.
Yeah, but when the door is closed,
This is all hypothetical. Yes, the light goes out when the door is closed.
Do you have a light sensor in there to make sure the light goes off and back on?
The switch does that. There's a little switch at the
Okay.
door. But anyways, the point is that I fixed the fridge and it was working fine, and then I bought the extended warranty. So all that stuff that was happening, besides the stuff that was happening before, was it was running too cold, which is not at all the problem I ran into later. So I buy the warranty, and then they tell me, oh, by the way, the warranty doesn't take effect until 60 days has passed. Any problems that come up,
How's that possible?
because
no, that's common. They want to make sure it really is functioning before they will pay off on effects.
And the fridge was functioning perfectly fine throughout January, throughout February, throughout March. And then I started noticing that the fridge, instead of freezing my food, started getting warmer. And then it got to the point where I had the fridge up to the coldest temperature, and my ice cream was mush, which made it real easy to scoop. You
You
know,
invented soft serve ice cream.
I invented soft serve ice cream with the help of Whirlpool.
Wait a minute.
So-
Dairy Queen, I think, invented soft serve ice cream.
Oh,
Never mind.
please. Anyone
could
can make
drink
soft
his
serve
ice
ice
cream
cream
with a
that
straw.
sticks when you turn it upside down. I made soft serve ice cream you could pour out in the sink. But
That's. Oh no, you didn't invent soft serve ice cream. You invented super soft.
I invented the DIY milkshake fresh from the freezer.
Right.
So it changed
Are
180
we getting
degrees.
diverted in this whole conversation? Of course we are.
Of course we are. So it changed 180 degrees from too cold to too hot. Yeah, it dropped 180 degrees and then more. But,
So you adjust your auto off and auto on timer.
Oh, I took the auto off out of the chain and I turned the temperature all the way up and I had mushy ice cream still. So I'm like, oh, well, that's okay. I planned for this day. I bought the extended warranty. Now, how would Webster's define a warranty? I don't know. I didn't pull out a dictionary, but Brian, you're a man of the world. Maybe I was naive. So I'm curious how you would define a warranty. How do you think this warranty works?
Is when you pay somebody money, they're going to find some way to avoid paying off your claim.
But textbook definition warranty, how do you expect that should work?
No, nor in the ideal world, which of course we do not live in, because it really is flat, right? in some people's mind, anyway.
Yeah.
The idea is that if something breaks, there is that outfit that advertises on TV that what is it called? Anything Breaks is their outfit. Everything Breaks, I think.
Everything breaks. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they're any good or not, but the idea is, something breaks, you call them up and you file a claim, and they send a technician over to fix it.
See, okay, that's good. Mars, how would you?
Now, it could be
define
the manufacturer as well, offering a warranty on a new product.
Let's
Did-
not
Did
get
the
in the weeds.
warranty say limited warranty or did it say regular warranty? I mean, did you read the
It said extended.
the terms and conditions, quote unquote?
I don't got time to read that.
Yeah, I don't have time to read what's going. No, honestly, this is what I want. This ideal warranty, quote unquote, ideal warranty. The ideal warranty is, hey, you know what? My crap stopped working. Come down, fix it. Thank you. Okay, I don't have to pay anything. Bye. Thank you very much.
See-
Goodbye. That's the ideal warranty.
This is one of these things. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did you have to send the refrigerator in to get repaired?
No, no. We didn't get to that point, but
Can you
See,
imagine the inconvenience? Oh, just send it back. It'll be fine.
Here's the
Is there a
thing.
tag on there that says where it's manufactured?
I
In other words, do you have to send it to China?
on a slow boat.
on the slow boat to China?
I'll get that back to you in 2 to 3 years.
But see, it doesn't cover the shipping, so not only you pick the slow boat because you don't want to pay arm and leg to put it on an airplane.
So anyways, here's where I feel like it'd be nice if there were regulations that would basically define things consistently. Because in my world, the legal definition of a warranty should be that if you have a warranty, that if something goes wrong with your product, the end result is you still have that same product.
In
whether
theory.
whether they fix it, whether they replace it. That to me is the point of a warranty.
In
to
theory.
end
The same
up
product?
with the equivalent. To end up with the equivalent. I get a warranty on
okay.
my fridge so that if something goes wrong with my fridge, at the end of whatever process it is that I gave this company money,
you have
I will end
equivalent-
up with a fridge,
an equivalent fridge.
an equivalent fridge.
Chances are, if there was an ice maker in your fridge, you would again end up with an ice maker in the replacement unit.
Yeah, basically.
And right now, it would be a water dispenser.
That to me is textbook warranty. If something goes wrong, at the end of the process, you are back where you started with a working fridge of the same
Right.
or equivalent.
But since you didn't read the fine print,
But that's what the word
says-
warranty means. Can we all agree on the definitions of words? This is a
course.
pretty basic concept. Dictionary definition.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but that is clearly you can tell where this is going. That is not how the Whirlpool extended warranty works.
So, what did they give you a washing machine in replacement?
He wishes. He wishes.
Oh God! Don't get me started on the washing machine. You know,
I
was
should have said the dryer instead.
when I was a kid, you didn't have to throw a cleaning tablet into it once a month to make your clothes not smell
I
like
don't have
dog.
to. I've never put a cleaning tablet in my washer or dryer ever.
If I don't, my clothes starts to smell like wet dog, and I don't even own a dog.
Do you like that wet dog commercial?
That's exactly what my clothes smell like, and I don't even have a dog. How is the dog smell getting in my washer when I don't have a dog? Or as Doom would call it, wash.
Wash.
Wash. So I call the Whirlpool warranty people, AIG, and I tell them, well, I have a problem with the fridge. My ice cream is soup, and they said, well, we'll send the guy out and he'll take a look at that. And then I think I already told this story. This was the story where they say, well, there's no one available to look at your fridge, so you're going to have to hire your own guy, and then they're going to have to do the evaluation, and then they have to send the quote to us and go through us for parts and everything. And, basically the worst possible way to repair a fridge is what they described to me.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, tell me, who are all these people that are not available to look at my fridge that you would go through? And they told me the name of the one establishment in my region that services fridges.
And this is AIG
officially.
that did this?
Yeah, the AIG rep told me the number of this one. And so I called them up directly, and I said, dude, why aren't you available to look at my fridge when I call Whirlpool? And they said, oh, well, it looks like we're not available for 2 weeks, but the Wednesday in 2 weeks we got openings. So I'm like, could you put me down for that?
Are
Or
they that
no?
busy?
Whirlpool, that's it. Basically, it turns out these people, they only service my region on Wednesdays. Like, it's a company based out of the Boston area that they do different regions, different days of the week, because that way the service person's in that area that one day to do all the things in that area. So Wednesdays are the day.
You're like that guy in Colorado that only gets was it FedEx delivery once a month?
UPS was from an
So-
ATV
From an
Dave,
ATV.
that can't get
Yeah.
past the gate.
Gators, do you have a fancy refrigerator? Or just pretty
No,
fancy?
I had the cheapest fridge money can buy.
Okay, so
It's Whirlpool after all.
Actually, I had the second cheapest fridge money can buy. Now I have the cheapest fridge money
okay,
can buy.
so if my refrigerator dies, I'm taking it out to the dumpster, sticking it out there, and then buying a new one over at this place over here that sells used refrigerators. Because honestly, I don't care as long as it works. And the used refrigerators are $245. Basic. There's 2 doors on it. There's a cold and an extra cold section. That's
Yeah.
all I care about.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the repair guy comes out, and he's like, before you open up the fridge, let me take some measurements. And he's got his and I'm like, well, dude, look on the door right there. I got the thermometers in. He didn't understand that the module on the door was for thermometers I had in the fridge that were wireless things in the fridge. He thought it was just something I was using to keep track of my own measurements I was taking. Because then,
By the way, just an aside, Johnny.
yeah.
My headphones stopped beeping.
Oh,
Oh, wait, were they? You have the HA
When I got on with Johnny before we went live, my
Yeah.
headphone was going beep beep beep.
Oh yeah, the GGG.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, it's the G2. You have the HA100s or 600s, right?
800s, yeah.
Yeah, the 800s. Okay, so what happens is Oh, I wish I would have known. I would have given you another battery and another dongle if you wanted it. I have like 6 pairs of those around here. Okay, so basically those things you can charge that thing with a USB battery pack and talk at the same time. That's what I
Excellent.
recommend you doing. So plug in the USB
in fact, I leave this sucker plugged in all the time. So my thought is that maybe I damaged the
battery,
USB
yeah, the battery's probably
cable.
dying. The things
Or-
that die on that are the USB inside the headset might be dying. The cable, maybe look at the teeth on the cable or the battery,
Yeah.
because that battery
Yeah.
does not. I mean, I have 4 or 5 of those batteries.
Yeah, when I jiggle the connector to the headset,
Yeah.
it's a little
Loose?
squishy, a little
Okay.
loose.
Well, if you look at the connector on the thing, are the teeth pushed in on the little USB? Are they squished in? Are the teeth not teethy anymore?
On the,
Have
on the
they
cable
been
or on the headset?
on the cable itself? You know the parts that go into the headset, the little micro USB.
My lighting is actually kind of sucky. I really can't see it. It
Oh.
doesn't look like
Well,
there's
you
an
just
issue.
Put your hands on
Oh,
and feel
I
it.
got it.
Can
I
you-
got
can
an
you feel
angle.
the two teeth?
No, they look fine. They look
They
fine.
look fine. Okay, it's probably the headset dying. Finally, how long have you had that for? What, a couple of years, right?
When we discussed headsets in 2014, I looked it up on Amazon.
That's pretty good life for the H800s. Okay, back to the fridge. Sorry about that. Yeah, so just leave it plugged in, Brian, as long as you can. I recommend getting a USB battery pack and just hook it up to it like a small one. It'll work fine.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Here, hang on a second.
Okay, sorry. Okay, back to your refrigerator. Sorry about that, Gators.
Right.
You really have to take the suckers off your head before you can plug the USB connector back in.
So the service guy takes
Back
his,
to the fridge story. Yes.
service guy
thank you.
takes the
Thank you.
readings
Okay.
and he says, "Oh, I could see the problem already. You got frost in your freezer, which is a sign that something's wrong and something's not working right because the condenser and the thing and the whatever with that, and then if that doesn't do that, then that with that, and then you get frost in the freezer." And so he's like picking the frost out, throwing it into my sink, and it gets in there, and he puts together a list of things. And I'm like, oh, this is great because warranty covers all this. So you get the list of parts, you get the parts in here. You'll be back out here in 2 weeks, and you'll fix everything up. And
Yeah.
he goes, and he kind of hesitates as if he's already knows that we're never going to speak again after this visit.
What?
But he's not telling me that directly.
He's not coming back?
He's like, well, we'll see. Well, we'll have to check what happens. Well, it's got to go through
Well,
approval.
he's hoping that what he's doing is actually going to fix it forever, and he won't need to see it again.
Well, no, because he'd have to come. He has to order parts, but it has to be approved first. So he says, "Well, I'm going to go put this through, and then I'll let you, and we'll
I bet
we'll
he hasn't
schedule."
touched it yet, has he? He's probably
Well,
sitting on his desk.
So 5 minutes after he gets out the door, he calls me back. He goes, "Whirlpool denied the claim. They're not." Gonna,
The
And I'm like-
fuckers.
I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Well, you have to call them and talk to them." I'm like, "Well,
No,
what?" He's like, "They'll take care of you."
I guarantee you he didn't call them. I guarantee you he didn't call them.
No, he did because I called them up, and I'm like, dude, the repair guy came here, looked at my fridge. He said it was it was denied, and I got the warranty, and my fridge is not keeping things cold, and you're supposed to cover that. So he told me to call you so you can explain what's going on, and she gives me attitude like, well, this claim only came in 10 minutes ago. We haven't even had a chance to review it yet. That takes 2 days.
Then it's how is that denied?
Then you said, why did the Whirlpool guy, why did the AIG guy just say you denied it to me? Did
Well,
they even
she's
call
like,
you
well,
and
we
let you
denied
know?
it, but we have to verify it, and we got to double check it, and then we
You
got to,
can't just say it's denied if you
That's a
don't verify.
weird thing.
So now, mind you, I got to get back to work because
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
cutting out of work to talk to the repair guy, watching him chuck frost in my sink, talking to him about all these things. So I get some work done. Meanwhile,
Basically, you know what that means? That means Gators needs to take his pants back off so he can sit back at work again because all this restraint while he's talking to the Whirlpool guy.
no, I
he
leave
needs
the
to loosen
pants
up a
on.
little.
I leave the pants on, but I take the socks off.
Yeah, work in quotes, Dune. You're right.
But anyways,
Yeah.
so and Sparky hit the nail on the head, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So basically, I asked the guy, well, dude, before I called Whirlpool, I asked the guy, well, tell you what, if I talk to Whirlpool and they give me, let me ask you, can you still fix the fridge? He's like, well, they turned it down. I'm like, could you fix the fridge for me? He goes, what, you mean you pay for it? No, you don't want to do that. I'm like, why not? He goes, well, because it'll cost $1,200. That's more than the fridge would cost. Don't spend $1,200 on a $600 fridge. So, that was, it's like, you don't want to talk to me anymore.
Whoa. Let's go back to, so do you think that they denied this claim because the cost of repair was more than it's worth?
That's exactly why, but we'll get to that.
So
Okay.
you
All
know-
right.
you know
All right.
what
So
this
you were,
opens- Okay, Brian.
This is like a murder mystery show
Not really.
that is way complicated.
Not really.
So
Who
Dave,
really did the murder, right? Who done it?
Who done it?
th-
Whirlpool
there
done it.
there
They-
is lost income in this whole thing. I'll tell you. Someone needs to have insurance policies for your refrigerator, so you can call your refrigerator totaled, and then they can jack up your prices.
Well, that's
Then you
that's
take the $600 for a $1,200 refrigerator.
So the thing is I'm like, whatever. Whirlpool's going to take 2 days to sort out all the different ways
Yeah.
that it's not worth $1,200 to repair my fridge. I'll talk to them in 2 days. Now, mind you, I get to work, and I do work. I do actually do work here.
With pants on.
Pants or shorts, depending on the weather.
Happen.
And about 3 or 4 hours later, I go downstairs and I notice that the freezer is still only 40 degrees because, like, he unplugged the freezer and had the door open while he was, like, taking it apart and looking at things. So the freezer got warm while he was working on it. But he plugged it back in, and after 4 hours, the freezer's still only chilling up to 40 degrees. So,
Wow.
like, I'm
Down
like,
40 degrees.
right, well, it got up to 40 degrees from, I mean,
Yeah.
it was pumping out cold air, but not nearly enough, not nearly fast enough. And so, like, my freezer is thawing at this point. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm like, Kristen, we got to decide what we can eat tonight and what we can throw out tomorrow, because that's what we're looking at here.
All
That's what
right,
we're-
buffet. How much stuff can we make?
so we thought, well, the pack of ground beef for some tacos tonight will be good, and then we can get that eaten before that spoils.
Yeah.
And I do have an ice chest, and I have ice packs, but the ice packs were also in the same freezer that was only at 20. So the ice packs aren't even that. And how long can I keep stuff in an ice chest? I don't,
You're running out to your local supermarket and get another bag of ice.
Well,
You
here's what happened, and for the purpose of the story, we got to take it as a loss because that's what happened. But you'll understand. So at this point, I'm like, I need a new fridge in here, and I need a new fridge in here ASAP. I don't got 2 days for them to figure out what the fuck is going on with my shit.
Yeah.
So I call Whirlpool AIG back, and I'm like, dude, I need you to tell me what the hell is going on with this claim, because I bought the warranty so that this would be covered if this happened. This happened, and the guy comes out, and you won't do anything about it, and you tell me I got to wait 2 days? I got food that's spoiling. I got to figure out what I want to eat today because I got to throw out the rest tomorrow. And she goes, calm down, sir. We'll take this care of this. And she pulls it up. She goes, well, here's what we can do. So the cost of the repair is more than the fridge is worth, so we turned it down. But what we can do is we can buy out your warranty. So we can offer you, and she does like chunk to chunk to chunk to chunk to chunk, $350.
$150.
$350.
$350 bucks.
That's half of a new fridge.
$350. So I came out ahead because it was a $190 extended warranty, and they give me $350 for my trouble. Plus, sir, you said that food's spoiling, so you're probably going to need to do a claim for the food that you lose. You don't have to send us any pictures. You just got to fill out an itemized list of the food that went bad, and we'll refund you all that bad food up to $250. And I'm like, oh, thank God, because those T-bone steaks that I've been, sitting on the back of the
Oh,
freezer.
no. The Alaska King crab that's $80 a pound.
All that tri-tip and all that imported
Yeah.
tri-tip and all
No,
that.
I'm not going to pad the bill. I honestly had 4 T-bone steaks sitting in the back of the freezer there, and I mean, I did everything I could to maybe if it was winter and I had some snow in the backyard to pack them in.
So, Gage, I have a question. Do you have a deep freeze yet? You should honestly think about that. Deep freeze is great.
Baby steps. And then Dune writes in, what about that priceless Cherry Fog beer?
Yeah.
No, that sadly is gone for good. We drank the last one of that. Dune always hated it when I kept those. Dune made some batches of some really good beer, and one batch of really bad beer.
That, yeah.
And the one batch of really bad beer was the Cherry Fog. He wanted me to,
Have you ever had Falstaff beer?
No, I have not.
I
But,
I don't recall ever having it, but a friend of mine on Facebook, I think he is, you know, the great revolutionary flying the flag of let's restore Falstaff beer.
why not?
I don't really quite get the deal. There's so many craft beers out there that are decent. Other than the Cherry Fog beer.
Falstaff, the clear beer from St. Louis, brings you cream from London.
That alone is a good enough reason to bring it back.
Wow.
There we go, Falstaff.
Wow.
The Dune points out that the cherry fog tasted like cough syrup. So
Yaha. Cherry flavored cough syrup even, on top of that.
So anyways, yeah, so I get $350 back for the warranty that I paid $190 for, and I get $250 back for the $250 of food that I lost. So those checks are coming in. So it's like, okay, that's not bad. That's certainly.
That's not for a new fridge, then.
So
Yeah.
when was the conclusion of this this deal with AIG slash
That was Wednesday.
Wednesday, and you tweeted out the you people are horrific on when was that Thursday?
That was
Friday.
Wednesday before they.
Oh,
Fine.
before the conclusion.
Before
Right,
the red
because
car,
basically they left me with a freezer of spoiling food, and they're like, "We're not going to authorize the repair," and it's like,
Oh,
and-
okay. So that was the point of your tweet. I got it.
and
And,
on the
that
one-
makes sense.
And on the one hand, yes, I came out ahead, but on the other hand, now I understand how these work, and they're not warranties; they're scams. They are because
Yes, I think generally speaking,
even when you come out
product
ahead,
warranties
it's not a
are-
warranty. They did not get. I did not end up with exactly where I started. I ended up with help towards buying myself a new fridge. Which is
with the
not what a
food-
warranty is supposed
Well,
to be.
with the price of your food and the fridge money they gave you $600 for a brand new fridge.
$600 minus 190 that I paid for the warranty initially, but
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
if you had it on the extended warranty, you'd
Yeah.
been really screwed.
no, you're right. I mean, even if they did bring me a new fridge, so yeah, basically I came out pretty close to what I needed for a new fridge, anyways. But it's like, wow, it really is a scam. They won't get you a fridge. They'll just buy you out. Basically, they came to the number because they took the manufacturer retail price of my fridge and said, we'll give you 45% of the retail price. Now, Sparky goes, you don't have the checks yet. Don't count those chickens yet. Well, I have their word that they're in the mail, but you're right, Sparky. I'm keeping an eye on that mailbox. But here's the thing. So I go to Lowe's.com and I price fridges. And first of all, I don't need a big fancy fridge. Whatever I buy, I'm probably going to leave in this house when I move. I don't want to. If I'm going to buy a big fancy fridge someday, I'll buy that when I have the big fancy house. And I'll leave this fridge behind here. So I basically, and not to mention, I don't have that big of a door. So I don't want to deal with, like, the truck driver going, sorry, sir, it don't fit through the door. There's nothing we can do. Enjoy your new porch fridge.
So
Your
we
porch
had,
fridge.
yeah, right. See, or have it delivered to the garage.
I don't have a garage. It'd be in the driveway.
Oh, darn. So it'll be on
So-
the porch.
But I will say, the guys that came here and delivered the fridge.
So what we
they're-
need
they're
to do
well
is put a
rehearsed.
sign on it that says, leave a beer, take a beer, leave a beer, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But anyways, I had two choices. Option A, the exact same model fridge from Whirlpool that I just had die on me. They still make that model, and that's still like one of the cheapest options you can get. Option B, the exact same size fridge made by Frigidaire for $50 cheaper.
Is that what you did?
I went with the Frigidaire.
No.
I ain't buying
Yeah,
that.
when we had some
I'm done with Whirlpool.
refrigerator problems, which really got to me because this is a fancy, high-tech refrigerator, when the sensor in the ice maker failed, then the whole thing shut down. Now, what the fuck logic is that? That is not a smart refrigerator.
No.
Anyway, that's beside the point. To get me through the situation, I went and got a smaller, garage refrigerator. Was it 4 cubic feet, 5, 6 cubic feet? It's about 4 feet tall, whatever, and it served the purpose. Not a big freezer space though. Although I could go out and buy a freezer of that approximate size as the backup.
Mm-hmm.
So if the big refrigerator dies, I got place to put the stuff, right?
Right.
That's the idea. And it really cracked me up is that the energy companies often would offer a rebate if you bought a new refrigerator, quote unquote high efficient, but part of the proviso, you got the money back if you got that rebate money when they picked up your old refrigerator. But because what a lot of people were doing is they'd buy that new fancy refrigerator, apply for the rebate, have the old one in the garage, so they really have added power demand rather than subtracting.
Anyways, Sparky's saying he likes Whirlpool. I don't know. This fridge left a sour taste in my mouth. Not to mention, I bought a brand new Whirlpool washing machine, and like I said, it makes my clothes smell like wet dog. And even the Fresh tablets help, but they don't completely eliminate it. I don't think that washing machine is not getting my clothes as clean as
your
the
humidity
old one.
And what's your humidity factor is down in your basement?
I don't know.
That's where your machine is, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. Why would I care? The old washer never had this problem.
That contributes to stuff like mold.
The old washer didn't have this issue, so it's possible to build a washer that doesn't have this issue. The modern ones suck.
But I'm suggesting that it could be something other than the washer. It could be the environment.
But the old washer was in the same environment and didn't have that issue.
I'm just saying it could be.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
My science says it's possible to have a washer in that basement that doesn't make my clothes smell like wet dog. But the new washer ain't it.
I think most of my appliances are when I first moved in. When this place was built, like my fridge and my washer dryer are from '89. So
when they were made reliable and good.
Yeah. Well, my fridge is honestly it works really well. It's just getting really loud, so I think it's
okay. I'm going to have to take a quick break here.
Okay,
enjoy. Right. Brian has to use a Whirlpool.
Yeah.
Yes. You got it.
Yeah.
He's going to go make a Whirlpool.
Yeah. But yeah, my stuff is all from '89. No digital. My stove is, but I don't like my stove that much. It's a piece of crap. So
I don't know.
I will have to buy a new fridge at some point. I'm gonna see. I'm looking to I don't want digital stuff. I don't need displays. I don't need. I can't use I can't use an ice maker or an ice maker maybe if I put my own water in there. But there's no outlets or anything behind that wall, so
yeah,
there's no water dispenser or anything. So I don't really care.
Now, Sparky's siding with Brian on the whole humidity basement thing, and I'm not complete. I don't want. Yeah, I kind of shut that down hard, but that doesn't mean that I don't think there's something there. I just, like I said. Yeah. My old washer worked fine in that environment. So even if it's an environmental factor, I think the fact that older appliances dealt with that better than newer appliances just says to me that the new appliances just suck. I am not impressed with these new washers that barely put any water in there and tumble them around, let them slosh around a little bit of water in the and I do have a deep water option, although the instructions tell me that it's better to not use that. But even when I use that, I still get wet dog clothes. Yeah, I don't know. And I've tried changing detergents, and then my wife broke out in hives.
Is it the washer or the dryer, you think? It's probably the washer, huh?
It's probably the washer, because the thing is they have the smell stronger when they're wet. So when I take the wet clothes out of the washer before I put them in the dryer, I smell the wet dog smell. And then I try to get the fresh scent dryer sheets to try to help combat that some. What's really bad is when I am working and I'm walking into the office and it starts raining and it starts making my shirt smell. And I'm like,
Oh, you got some acid rain. That's
And I
it.
don't-
Yeah.
and I don't have social distancing to fall back on to keep people 6 feet away from me from smelling the stank off of my shirt.
Just
You
keep
know?
a bottle of Febreze on you. It's fine. honestly, a bottle of Febreze, it's your best friend. It's your best friend.
Now, Sparky suggesting a few things, asking if I keep the lid open. I don't know if I do. If I think about it, I do. If I don't think about it, I probably go on autopilot. And autopilot, I'm the
Are you
type
supposed to keep that open?
well, Sparky suggesting that to let it breathe.
Oh yeah, maybe.
But but being someone that was raised to put the toilet seat down, I probably do the same with the washer just by a reflex. But if I think about it, I leave it up. And he's also saying that my old washer had worn seals.
Oh yeah, mine are top loaded. Well, the
Yeah.
dryer's front loading, but the washer's top loading.
Right. Yeah. I got a top loading washer, and I mean these new washers. They took the thing out of they took the agitator out of the middle, and they barely put any water in there to let it slosh around a little soapy suds.
Because you can put like bigger. You can put like comforters and stuff in them. I really like. My sister has one that's pretty big. I'm like, dude, this is great.
Yeah, but you still want it to go around the edge because if you get them in the middle, then they just kind of float up. But when the thing spins around, I don't know. There's pros, there's cons. I just the old washer I had was a Craigslist special that was a solid workhorse, and I noticed it start slipping, and I decided, well, I got some bonus money. I'll buy the new washer now before this one breaks down because it's starting to go. And now I wish I held on to it and just got it serviced or learn how to repair it. And speaking of learning to repair things,
What?
Brian's learning to repair his headset because I don't think we hear him.
The USB on those H800s die. I know someone that actually ripped the whole
Good.
USB out one time. Pull
You
out the
can't
USB.
hear me?
Oh, I
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can
you.
We can hear you.
Oh.
Yeah.
It looked like you
Yeah.
were whistling before, and I didn't hear it. So that's what I. All right, but here's
It looked like I was whistling before.
it did. You moved your mouth in a way that I thought you were whistling, and we couldn't hear it. Yeah, like that. I don't know. No, there was some. I don't know. I thought you were gonna whistle or something. You made a movement with your mouth that made me think of whistling.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. So, anyways, the topic of this week's show is: I bet Steve doesn't even know what his ceiling tastes like.
What? Wait.
His ceiling.
What? Wait.
Yeah, there's a lot of explanation that needs to go into that topic.
Yes.
Are you talking about
I
Steve St.
would
Peter,
say so.
or who are you talking about?
Well, wait. Let me see what Sparky sent in. Sparky sent a link in that I need to click now just to see what he thinks I need. Oh, is that link downloading something? It didn't open a new
Now
tab.
Sparky has access to your computer. Good job, Sparky.
I can't get that to open. Huh. All right, let me try just opening it up separately in a new tab. Oh, there we go. I don't know why that didn't open by clicking on it. He sent me a link to a Amazon listing for a washboard, or as Doom would call it, a washboard.
Oh, the old.
Oh, let's see that.
You could make music with that.
You could make music with that. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll I do need to start sharing my screen shortly here because we're going to talk about our friend Steve, who has no idea what his ceiling tastes like, and this is a problem. But before we do that, here's the washboard that Sparky is suggesting I
Nice.
buy.
$35. It
So-
probably cost $5 50 years ago.
So a lot of cool things going on in the world of surround. Rhino Music is putting out 4 new Quadio releases on Friday, June 23rd, and rumor has it, it's just about all but confirmed that the 4 releases are going to be the quad mixes of Black Sabbath Paranoid, Alice Cooper Billion Dollar Babies, Jefferson Starship. What's the one that has Miracles on it?
Starship.
No, it's the red
Starship
cover
Gold.
one. Red Octopus. Red Octopus is the name of the album. And Jay Giles' band, Nightmares, and I don't remember the rest of the name of that
Oh,
album
those last
title.
two are pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
So these are all quad releases?
Yeah, well, they'll come out in Blu-ray discs that include stereo and quad mixes on them.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And there's also been lots of cool Atmos releases that have come out. I recently got yet another copy of Tubular Bells, this time on a Blu-ray, which includes the original stereo mix, the 1975 quadraphonic mix, the 2009 5.1 surround remix, and a brand new Dolby Atmos remix. And it includes a
Of course,
demo
Sparky
of
did
some-
already know that you were in Who's-Ma-Call-It because he went and painted your house pink.
Ah,
Who's in the phone?
yes. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever hid that I'm in Attleboro. I think I'm okay with
Yes.
it was just the time that I
So
brought
just
up
look
this-
for a house that doesn't have a garage, and you found the place.
Yeah, you found that. If you analyze some of my Super 8 test movies, you could probably figure out where my neighborhood is pretty easily. So anyways, with all this exciting things going on in the world of quad, surround, and Atmos, this old fart pops up on my Twitter feed again this past
Oh, is it Steve
weekend.
Gutenberg?
Yes, that's
Yay!
Steve.
I like him. He's cool. He's fun. He's fun. He's fun to listen to.
And he has this nice clickbaity headline for his new video.
Ooh.
Dolby Atmos. Who cares? And he tweets
What?
Dolby Atmos. Why? And I replied to him because I always reply to him when he engages in me like this because we all know I take these things personally. And I sent the only reply that I thought was suitable for this, which was a picture of a screen capture of a Simpsons episode that has a newspaper clipping with the headline, Old Man Yells at Cloud, with a picture of Grandpa Simpson shaking his fist up at a cloud up in the sky.
Oh my god.
Because that's basically what he did.
Yeah. Well, you know what you do? You sit there and you say, okay, listen to The Wall and Dolby Atmos. There you go. That's perfect. Because yeah, that's what you need to do.
Well, here's the thing. And I'm not saying everyone has to love Atmos. Everyone has to love
Yeah.
spatial audio.
But it's
everyone has
really
to love
neat.
surround sound.
Yeah.
But Steve Guttenberg, at some point, I'm going to do a proper version of this video and post it to the Quadcast video. Something that's got some production and visual effects and glitter. And I'm going to send the link directly to Steve so that he could watch it in a nice condensed version and not have to listen to an hour of my fridge before it. But before I do that, I'm going to go back to his channel. I'm going to count how many videos he has posted putting down surround sound, because this dude has posted at least 5 videos where his topic was, yeah, but surround sound sucks. He has done this multiple times. It's like, we get it, Steve. You don't like it. How about
I'm
you
watching
listen?
baseball games in surround. It's really neat.
Yeah. Well, he's perfectly fine with movies in surround or stuff like that. But when it comes to music in surround, he keeps putting it down. And I, this was another one of these cases where he put the clickbait up there. I clicked the bait, and then I spent the next half hour yelling at my TV. So we're going to get the replay here of it. So here's the video, and we're going to react to it. Because I have some things to say about this.
Pretty awesome intro, though.
Yeah.
This episode
Be
is
better in
about
surround.
my personal journey with surround sound right up to the moment with Atmos, with Dolby Atmos. And it's happening because just the other day I was in a studio and I heard a Dolby Atmos mix. And I didn't like it. I didn't like anything about it. I didn't like the sound quality.
like it.
I didn't like the surround environment of the. I didn't like anything about it. But
Did he clean the wax out of his ears first?
Oh, great. So let's base your entire opinion on Dolby Atmos to this one mix session you sat in on. Okay, you had a bad session you sat in on.
But he's going to give it 5 stars, like that other review. right?
No, he's not even giving it a star. He's going to give it a 15-minute video taking a shit all over the whole concept of Atmos for it. But all right, let's let him talk some more because he's going to go back. He's going to talk about his background in surround.
I had to stick around because I didn't want to be too rude and just leave right away. So I
Oh, you not be rude? No, you're just going to shit post about it on the internet. They'll never see this. No, I don't want to be rude. I'll just talk about them all over the internet. They know who they are. All right, let's continue.
I stuck around, and as I'm sitting there listening, thoughts are going through my head like, I got to make a video about this because this sucks. It's just so stupid, you know?
Could you find anything redeeming or good that you like about Atmos? Could you maybe study the topic a little more before making a video about this one bad experience? Well,
No.
deadlines.
No.
No. All right.
People start writing reviews and talk about reviews before they've even opened the box, as we learned from our last review experience.
That is true. All right, let's go back.
So anyway, it was uncomfortable. But anyway, it started me thinking about my journey with surround sound. It started in the early 70s when I took the plunge because everyone was talking about quadraphonic. So I bought, did I buy it? Or somehow I wound up with a Sansui. I'm pretty sure it was a Sansui quad receiver, 4-channel receiver. And I had 4 speakers.
Now, here's the thing. I've spoken to this guy on the phone.
You spoke
About-
to Steve Gutenberg?
Yeah, he called me once. I gave him my number. He called me up.
Wow.
Yeah, he
So
posted
if I ever meet him in the Bay Area, I should say I know Johnny Gators right away.
Yeah. You totally should.
Yeah. He'll know who you are, right?
I'm kind of. Oh, he know. I have a feeling. I have a feeling he'll either say who or he'll roll his eyes. One of those two.
You try to take me away.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Johnny Gators, yeah, he's mostly harmless. But no, anyways, when I spoke to him on the phone, and mind you, I'm going off of memory, so my apologies if I got this wrong, but I recall him saying he didn't have much experience with quad, only some of that EV back channel phase removal stuff, something like that, or Dynaquad. He didn't reference anything about actually owning a quad receiver or a Sansui receiver at that, which is a pretty damn good receiver. So this is news to me that he once owned a Sansui quad receiver.
Well, you might get service.
Oh, it's I mean, it's not a Marantz, but it's still respectable. Now people are yelling at their screen at me. No, I have nothing against Sansui. They're good stuff. Good stuff. I haven't owned one. I decided to go Marantz, but
I don't have a receiver right now.
yeah. Anyways, but I just found this odd that he never. This is not the same story he told me on the phone some years ago. So this is news to me. He
Oh,
told me.
by the way,
yeah.
not to burst a bubble,
Okay.
Sansui is defunct as of 2014.
Bummer. Well, that's okay. They probably didn't make anything good since 1979, anyways. But
Ooh, the Sansui QRX5500 quadraphonic receiver.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks like the one.
Oh, the
his
QRX 9001 was the top of the line. I had an opportunity to buy one for $1,000.
Oh, 5001, is that what he's showing?
No, I don't know which one that is, but the 9001 was the top of the line. I don't know what this one is. I can't read the numbers. It's,
But it looks a lot. No, there's some differences, but it looks very similar to the
Yeah.
QRX 5500.
Zoom in and enhance.
yeah, no. So let's continue on.
Different brands. I forget what they are. One pair in the front, one pair in the back. And I had some LPs, and I played my quadraphonic records. And I sat there and listened and thought, why? It's just weird. Why is this out? Why is it over there? It's just, when I hear live music, it's right there. Right.
All right, before we get on to when you hear live music, let's get back to this. Did you really listen to quad records in quad, or did you listen to your stereo records through a quad decoder? What quad records did you listen to? Why can you give me no specifics on this? Just, it was weird. Not to mention, there are a lot of quad
Was
mixes
it weird because he was high at the time?
That could be. This is a dude who smoked pot in his day, I'm sure. But I could be wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Or maybe he was doing LSD.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
I'm just saying maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right, he's got his two fingers pointing at us like.
No, but he just kind of glosses over this whole, the quad sounded weird. Well, you know what? What mixes did you listen to? In fact, I've sent him some quad material because there's lots of different ways of mixing quad. Some of it's weird, some of it might be gimmicky, but some
Does
of
he
it,
still have a 4-speaker surround system set up?
I think he's got a home theater for movie viewing, but I
would
don't.
hope he would have a home
but-
theater for movie watching. Right?
But he doesn't really listen to music on that. He's got his super high-end stuff with his 2 speakers or a pair of speakers. He reviews different equipment, so he's always got things coming and going. And
Because
really,
he's a flat earther.
and well, no, he's a headphone guy.
Yeah.
Dude's got headphone trees. They make trees to hold
Yeah.
multiple headphones if you get to the level of owning the amount of headphones.
Did he steal it from some retailer that sold headphones at one point?
No, you can
well,
buy headphone trees.
I think
You
he
can buy
was
them,
the
yeah.
retailer that sold
Yeah.
headphones at one point. So he just brought the tree home with him when he was done selling headphones. But no, I mean, so here's where he starts to go into the bullshit territory. So
Why? It's just weird. Why is this sound?
let's hear the old
It's just-
bands in front of me argument.
When I hear live music, it's right there, right in front of me. That's where the band is playing, right? Yeah, orchestra, jazz, rock music. The band is in front. Sound is just sort of floating around behind me, which happens when you play stereo. So
Okay, and that is the argument that people make all the time. The band's playing in front of me. Which, yes, that's true. When you go to a live concert, usually the live band is in front of you. Mind you, there are some circumstances that could differ from that. You might go to a cathedral where they have choirs up in the lofts around you. You might go to some kind of a performance where the pipe organ is in the back of the cathedral, so you got the organ blaring from behind you and the choir in front of you, or multiple choirs around a big cathedral. There are certainly live settings that exist that aren't just the band in front of you, but okay, for the sake of argument, you're talking about the majority of performances where the band's in front of you, and it's just unnatural to have sound behind you because that's where the band is. Well, I got 2 issues with that. One, generally these concerts are not just all acoustic affairs. They're built on the sound system. You hear what they send the mix for the sound system to do. And it is not unheard of to have a sound system that surrounds the audience with quad or surround effects. As a matter of fact, I think you could see, certainly fans of Pink Floyd know what this is. This here is the Azimuth Coordinator used by Pink Floyd. This was used so that they could use the joystick to route different synthesizer or keyboard sounds to swirl around the audience. Now, mind you, yeah, I'm cherry picking a few instances in which it's not just the sound in front of you. For the most part, the sound system's pumping the sound in front of you. But the other thing is that not all albums or recordings have the purpose of replicating the live experience. I mean, next, are we going to complain that Pretzel Logic by Steely Dan just sounds unnatural because it's unnatural to have multiple Donald Fagans singing in harmony with themselves at the same time?
Okay,
That is unnatural.
That is
Now,
unnatural.
Mike
but-
McDonald, multiple Mike McDonald, like on the Asia album, totally natural.
It's okay to clone Mike McDonald. It's not okay to clone Fagan.
I do love the line where Walter Becker says to him, "That was your best Jerry Lewis voice." That
Yes, followed by him immediately taking his voices out of solo while they're listening to Deacon Blues.
yeah, I loved that. That was great.
That was
Nothing like a perfect dig,
but
you know,
I mean,
in a permanent media form of one of your close buddies.
I mean, it is such a narrow-minded view that a band goes on stage in front of me, so all records need to sound like that.
Well, and to his argument, like, how many albums come out in a studio version and a live version, and they're rather different.
They are. The studio and live performance are 2 very different things, and a
Yes.
live concert and a live album are also 2 very different things. But that's a whole other can of worms. But this whole argument, it's unnatural to hear instruments come behind me because the band's on the stage. Well, you're how narrow-minded are you being to think that way? If you don't like it, you don't like it. Okay, but the argument's bullshit.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, no. So that's all right. Let's see what else he has to say.
I just didn't understand it. Anyway,
I
so
didn't
that the
understand
whole
it. That's
quad
funny.
period did not
We know
last
that.
very long for me.
What's that?
We know he didn't understand that.
No.
That's everything he says doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no. He don't.
Right.
And no, with the bands and run.
Right.
Do you not, dude? You've been in studios. You understand that not all albums are creating the. Okay.
Anyway, so that the whole quad period did not last very long for me. And then many years passed, and I was writing for Home Theater Magazine, and I was doing stories about DVD audio and SACD. So each had multi-channel capabilities. And I was writing for Home Theater, so I had a home theater set up in my apartment here that I used also for music. Usually the 2-channel part of it, but I could play multi-channel audio through my system, which was all Dynaudio speakers, Dynaudio Contour speakers. So really good speakers. They do home theater really well, and they work great for music. But anyway, it's about the mixes. It's about what exactly do we do with a surround mix? That is the question. And very few people have figured out something that at least satisfies me, and I think the population as a whole, because they're still pretty rare. There were two. I can think of two really good exceptions of two surround mixes that I really, really liked. And one was Jerry Harrison of the Talking Heads. He did surround mixes for all of the Talking Heads studio albums, and they were fantastic. Because what he did is he took the stereo mix and just enlarged it, made it bigger and wider, and separated different instruments so you could actually hear the drums more clearly. You could hear the all that's just, he just opened it up. And I thought, that's it. That's how you do surround for music. But I didn't hear too many other people doing that. And
So
then,
he
of course,
just
Steve
blew away his
Wilson.
other argument.
Right.
Right?
He just said it can be done, and people have done it, but because he's got a lot of examples where it wasn't done, it's all bad.
Well,
Except
and to me, sometimes you're watching a surround show. It could be
Mhm.
an episode of Star Trek, right? And you see the cast in front of you on the TV screen
Yeah.
because we don't have surround video yet,
No.
right? So you got the cast in front of you, and you see a guy clunking some dishware or whatever it is, and that sound is coming from behind you from the rear speakers.
Well,
It's
that's
like
dude
they
don't know
kind
how
of
to
fucked
mix.
that up. Yeah, they fucked that up.
That I
right?
don't get. That I don't understand.
I mean,
I
if it clinked off on the left speakers only, and that character is on the left side of the screen, okay, makes sense. But
I mean,
to be behind you, that doesn't make any sense.
maybe they messed up. They put a reverb that was set too loud, so the room sound from behind came out louder than the initial. I don't.
I-
Go,
Yeah,
on, Mars.
could be.
I
could
feel
be.
like the beginning of his whole rant about quad or surround in any way or any sort. I feel like it's someone saying, you know what, I had a pizza today. I didn't like the crust. I'm never having any pizza ever again. Anywhere.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
that's what it makes me feel like. That he says,
I think
says,
that's good.
You know what? I'm judging one little thing, the whole generation of everything by one little sample. And I'm hoping he went to many different samples and tried it out. Yeah.
Well,
I'm really
I
hoping
mean,
tried
he
other
could be
samples.
talking about Whirlpool refrigerators.
Now, to be fair, he says he listened to Quad back in the day, thought it was weird, but how much Quad? What did he listen to?
Yeah.
Has he ever gone back to that? Has he sampled any of the Quad SACDs
And
that have been coming out from
In the
some
70s,
Vocalion?
what environment was he listening to it? You know, that could also be
He
part
didn't
of it,
even
you
have
know?
speakers matched up properly. He had a killer amp though, if we are to believe this story
Oh.
versus the story on the phone. But yeah, no, but you're absolutely right. You know, he went to this. It's like I went to this session. It really sucked. It was really boring. I didn't like the mix they were doing. So I'm gonna yell at this cloud now on my YouTube channel. So-
And you know, he might have had a lot more Yeah.
Yeah.
He might have had a lot more sources, but he needs to explain that he's had more than just one source of surround. Now, he is saying he liked other sources, which means he kind of just blew his whole argument away. So,
See-
and in a roundabout way, he's saying, you know what, it depends on your source. But he's not telling people it depends on your source.
Well, he is getting into that here now. But the thing is, I guess what it is I don't know what his quad experience is, but from what he said on the phone, it was very minimal. And what he glossed over on this video didn't really help that anymore. He just said it was weird, but he can't even name one quad album he heard. Or at least he didn't on this video. But he did review 5.1 surround albums in the early 2000s in the SACD DVD audio. So, yeah, he liked the Talking Head ones, but he also heard a lot of surround mixes from that time period he didn't like. Mind you, it was a new thing that people were still trying to figure out, and they never quite did because it died out. You know what? This would be like someone in the early 60s talking about how unnatural it sounds on the stereo mixes of the Beatles albums to have all the voices on one side, all the stereo on the other side, so stereo sound sucks. They didn't figure it out yet. They were still figuring it out. But now stereo's phenomenal, you know?
But see, that made karaoke so much easier. They just took the right channel and turned it to the center, and there's your karaoke.
There you
That
go.
made it, that's
Yes.
Yes.
They were thinking karaoke. I'm
Yes,
sure.
Of course they were.
Well, also it's really hard to make a good stereo mix when you're only recording in twin track. So there is that.
Honestly, that's why so many people love the mono mixes of a lot of the Beatles stuff. Is because it's all in one and it's done the way it's supposed
Stereo
to be.
Was still evolving.
Yeah,
in the early 2000s, it was. The early 2000s was not an extension of quad in the 70s.
Now they've done remasters that sound good. I like some of the I love some of the remasters they've done. Yeah. But, they did a lot of work on that to get those to sound as good as they did. You could tell.
Well, some people prefer the original vinyl to the remasters too, but I mean that's a whole other can of worms.
That's a whole other beast right there.
And if Venison were here, he'd talk about his TDK cassette tape dubs that he has of all this. That sounds the best of everything.
Of course.
But
of course, yeah. I mean, you could argue, what's the point of stereo since mono can be so good?
Well, that is an argument that was made back in the day. What's that murderer's with the crazy
Ted
hair?
Kaczynski?
No, the guy that ended up going to prison for shooting someone with the crazy hair, with the Wall of Sound.
Phil Spector.
Yeah, that's the guy. I could say murderer because he was actually found guilty and is in prison, right?
I believe he was.
Yeah, so it's not alleged anymore.
And Ted Kaczynski just died.
Point is Phil Spector with his Wall of Sound. He was a big fan of mono and put down stereo because I'm gonna have to make a better version of this video to post to Steve.
Yeah, you got to throw in there that Phil Spector preferred mono because he was a flat Earth sound guy.
He was a flat Earth sound guy.
So we should really just make a parody of this whole thing.
He wasn't even a flat Earth sound guy. He was a point Earth.
Oh my
sound guy. Stereo is the flat Earth sound guy.
Yeah.
But no. So, anyways, the point is, Steve. To be fair to Steve, dude has listened to a lot of early 2000s 5.1 surround mixes, and yes, there were some clunkers in those batches. I'd say there were more than two good examples, though. I mean, heck, the 5.1 mix of the Eagles Hotel California got rave reviews. I've not listened to that one much myself because I'm not a fan of that song or album. But that is certainly one that's gotten lots of rave reviews. What other ones from that time? Oh, you know what? The Beck album that came out with the white cover, the white book with the DVD audio and the Guero or something like that. The one that has Sun-Eye Girl on it. Guero.
Beck that much, so.
Yeah, Beck Guero. Awesome 5.1 surround mix. That's another one that I would say stands out. Steve might consider that one a little gimmicky because it uses the rear speakers a lot. Although I find it odd that he describes the Talking Heads as just expanding the stereo field, whereas I think it's quite an active surround mix. beyond just but he does start with the original stereo mixes and enhance it from there. The only
Maybe he was listening to the Talking Heads when the drugs were kicking in.
I could be the one nitpick I'll have is that no one has ever gotten a remix of Once in a Lifetime right. The 5.1 mix of that one totally botches. Like there's this percussion effect that goes clank, 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 clank on the original track, but the stereo mix has some kind of a reverb delay effect on it that makes it kind of do more of a clankety clankety type of thing. And they didn't. Jerry didn't get that right on the 5.1. That's my nitpick with that. Other than that, oh yeah, the Talking Heads brick is totally worth owning if you don't already. All right, let's resume this.
I thought, that's it. That's how you do surround for music.
So there is a way to do
Too
it.
many other people doing that. And then, of course, Steven Wilson of Porcupine Tree, he did surround mixes of like some King Crimson records and Jethro Tull, and I think progressive rock stuff.
You own
And he
these.
had a great aesthetic. He did not what Jerry Harrison did. He just created this open space, this spatial environment in which the music lived, which I liked. Not as much as the Jerry Harrison version.
You own these things. You like these things. Yet you shit on them all the fucking time.
But he did good. He was into it. He really put some thought into what constitutes a surround.
He also did
mix
the
for
Yes
music.
albums, didn't he?
Without a picture. That's the point of this. I'm saying once you have a movie, once you have an image of a band on stage, and that's the surround. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about music only with no visual side part to it. Just a music only surround mix. Now, it's interesting. Some of my friends were at the biggest audio show in the world a couple of weeks ago, the high-end show in Munich. And I asked them, what do you think? Was there any Atmos demos there? Any multi-channel music demos going on at the biggest show in the world? And the answer is no. No, not a one, as far as they could tell. It's so big they couldn't see everything. Right?
Because Dolby didn't want to
I
go
was
to Germany?
at the Axpona show
I don't know.
just about a month ago. No surround mixes that I was aware of at that show. So who is this for? That is the question. What is all the hubbub about with Dolby Atmos? Well, and I also asked my friends on Twitter. I asked my friends on Facebook, what do you think? Are you into surround sound, multi-channel? And a couple were, absolutely. Yeah.
I got this
And some of
crazy
my
person,
patrons,
Johnny
I
Gators.
called my patrons and asked them, what do you think? And 5% said that they had 5 or more speakers in a system that they used for music, multi-channel music playback. Okay, that's 5% there. And then 8% of them said they had a home theater system that they played multi-channel music on. Okay, so there you go. There are people doing it. So I'm not saying that no one is doing it. And if you're doing it and really enjoy it, that's fantastic. I'm not trying to
Thank you.
talk you out of it or anything. I'm just giving you my
I'm
personal
just
experience.
shit talking it every chance I get.
Now, I think the thing that is likely to happen with a more mass acceptance for Dolby Atmos is over headphones, especially apparently true wireless headphones.
Yeah, I'm not
listening through
convinced on
Apple
that yet.
Music. That seems to be a thing that people, I sense, are really enjoying that. And at some point I will lend an ear to that.
I'm not a fan of the earbud or the here's the thing. I'm okay with it as long as people are listening to as long as the material is real and can be played on a real system. Cuz like for example, Sony has put out their own streaming codec called Real Audio 360. And it's primarily billed as something that creates a surround environment in headphones. So at first we thought, oh, it's some sort of fake surround generated from stereo. But we found out, no, it actually has multi-channel music encoded in this format. And they have reissued a bunch of quad mixes through Tidal and Apple Music encoded in this Sony Real Audio 360. The thing is that at this time, the only equipment that plays it back are headphones. There's no real way to get it out on a discrete, but the discrete audio exists in the file.
So you have to buy a Sony headphone to get this. Is that right?
Well, there are. The thing is that the codec that encodes the audio is open source material, so it is possible to find ways to extract the channels into file formats that standard equipment can play, like multi-channel WAV or multi-channel FLAC.
Are you sure you can't do like 5.1 or at least Dolby? Because I know the Apple TV 4K will do Dolby Atmos.
Oh yeah. And you
can play Apple Music on it. I'm surprised they don't have the spatial setup for that yet.
No. Tidal and Apple Music do have Dolby Atmos material that is streamed and can be played back, but Sony decided to make their own proprietary spatial format that's not Atmos. That is Real Audio 360, which modern receivers are not equipped to play back.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You know it's gonna. People are gonna sit there and put it in at some point. Not
Possibly.
now.
There's not any. You know what? I asked the I asked the Marantz tech support people about it, and they said no, we don't know about that.
I mean, how new is that? Do we know?
It's new enough that I think some of their new receivers that they sell in Europe might have it in there, but even that's any of the literature I found about it's very vague.
There might be firmware updates.
I asked.
Stuff
They said no. They said no firmware update. You'll have to buy a new receiver if we implement that in a future receiver. We can't put that in with the firmware, which I think is bullshit. But that's what they told me.
Yeah. Well, like I said, new codec formats and everything can be put in anything.
Yeah.
And just
Well, some companies tend to look at devices from a hardware standpoint rather than software.
Well, that's a big problem.
If you're going as a hardware device, then there isn't going to be a firmware available.
Well,
I mean, it's just there
was a.
But it's
the only place. I mean, when I think about people who have Atmos at home, for a home theater, most of them have a sound bar. They don't have 5 or 7 or 8 or 9 or.
Now, there's only one acceptable sound bar, and that's one that you can sit at to have a beer.
Oh.
Yes.
That is.
Bar sounds okay.
If you got one of those home bars with the blinking lights and the speakers built in with the 8-track, that is a cool sound bar. This little piece of shit that he's showing on his screen right now, I don't know what that is, but I don't want that anywhere near my house.
It's probably a Sonos Beam, honestly.
Yeah, I can't put a beer on that.
You can put a beer on
The problem with sandbars is like a sandbar is designed for the flat Earth sound guy.
Yeah. Well, they're designed for people whose dogs keep knocking down the rear speakers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a sound bar on one of my TVs, simply because the internal speakers are crap.
Yeah.
So I needed something.
They're good for that. Some TVs have awful built-in speakers.
Although, actually, the nice thing is it has a sound bar and an external wireless woofer, so you can put the woofer someplace else to get some of that low stuff. But quite frankly, most of what is played doesn't do that well.
In a room, no, they have a sound bar right under their TV, which may be okay for movies, but really for Atmos, for whatever, it's there.
No, you got to drill into your speaker. You got to drill into your ceiling, put speakers in the ceiling, and find out what your ceiling tastes like when all that powder falls down on your face. This is a dude who doesn't know what his ceiling tastes like.
Then you have to think, let's see, is this an older ceiling that might actually have asbestos?
Is that the popcorn? Is that a popcorn ceiling?
Yeah.
Well, I found out that my ceiling is not popcorn. My ceiling is orange peel.
Oh, yeah.
But it don't taste like oranges.
Yeah.
So you do know what your ceiling tastes like.
It tastes like powder.
Oh, yum.
Yeah.
And again, if you have that and you're enjoying it, good. I don't mean to be too much of a negative guy.
He is really getting high at this point.
Let's review how he started this video, because he's not too much of a negative guy.
But I had to stick around because I didn't want to be too rude and just leave right away. So I stuck around, and as I'm sitting there listening, thoughts are going through my head like, I got to make a video about this because this sucks.
No, he's not a negative guy. Not at all. Not at all. All right,
That's
where were we?
That's it. Pretty close.
We were on the sound bar. Is where we were.
But really, for Atmos, for whatever, it's there. And again, if you have that and you're enjoying it, good. I don't mean to be too much of a negative guy, even though that's what I'm doing. But anyway, that's the story with multi-channel music. I condensed it down as much as I could.
Yeah. He didn't have to condense it down to 6.5 minutes. He could have taken at least 10. Because
Right.
now the rest of this is him going over viewer systems, people send in pictures of their stuff. That's a nice looking turntable there.
We're coming to the end of the reel.
Yeah. He goes over people's home systems that they send in pictures of. Which
I don't
those-
like a TV that's mounted too high
uh-huh.
because I hate looking up to politicians.
We'll just change the channel.
But it's a whole spatial awareness.
Anyway. So that is
Merely a joke.
All right. So let's see. Let's Sparky's been typing in here. People have been talking. We got to catch up with the chat because unfortunately I had the video window covering the chat. So Dune writes in, if you ever met him in public and introduced yourself, would he know your name? In other words, who lives rent free in whose head? I don't know if he'd remember my name, but like I said, I interacted with him enough on Twitter that he started replying to me to the point that we talked on the phone, and he asked me to wow him with my interest in surround sound so he could post a video of me talking about surround sound on his channel, which did happen.
Wow.
This is like school. Here, watch this, and we will talk about it later. Oh, no, we'll talk about it right through it. If I call Whirlpool and say I know Johnny Gators, will I get good service? Look at that. Just look at it. It looks so 1970s. Oh, the Sansui receiver. It is a beautiful receiver.
So there was this one
Yeah.
insurance company that their advertising scheme was, you get into an accident. This is auto insurance. You get into an accident, we'll not raise your rates.
Mhm.
Okay. This guy I knew had his car broken into.
Yeah.
He was a contractor. Some of his tools were stolen, et cetera, et cetera. Sad thing. He puts in a claim. They honor the claim. They don't raise his rates. They cancel his policy.
Oh, boo.
Mm.
Motherfuckers.
So, let's
Gators,
see.
Unfortunately, this is what's going on. A
Yeah.
lot of people, instead of having even a two speaker setup for music, they have, in a standard environment, they'll have like a smart speaker or a Bluetooth speaker that they'll come in and they'll pair their phone to.
Right.
The Sony Reality thing. I said I put a link in the chat room of what Sony's using for their 360 for speaker setups.
Okay. In the chat room.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me I do recall seeing something that Sony did make a set of speakers that will sync up with them, but it's like the only speaker thing at this time.
Yeah.
And then also I think some of the Marantz receivers in Europe might have a codec built in, but
I think
the
it'll become more
specific-
prominent. Sony crap
specifics-
goes everywhere, so
yeah, but the thing is that I don't want to listen on these crappy speakers. But it's cool that these exist.
I don't want to listen on crappy speakers, but only made by Sony, and they're only $400 a speaker, but it's okay.
I'm just glad they used open source codecs that allow us to extract this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But Dune says, don't be jacking with the Boz hi-hats. Sparky writes in, I like how Johnny had that tab pulled up and ready to go. Shows he does some behind-the-scenes work. And then he writes in, let's see, fridge, washer, dryer, car, basement heater. Johnny will soon run out of content. We're not done with the car yet. I did this past weekend, I did not get a chance to change the ignition switch because the ignition switch is held into place with Torx screws, and I didn't have Torx bits.
You don't have Torx bits?
I now have Torx bits. I now have Torx bits.
You're moving up in the world of
Yeah.
I can fix anything.
But I do want to do some more testing because I found a forum thread that talks about some wiring things and whatever. So when I get a chance, I'm going to do some more wire tracing and wire testing. And
Complete
I'm gonna,
new electrical harness day after,
I don't know. I found some references that say what does what on that wiring connector that connects to the neutral safety switch. But the important thing is that the car, because I pushed the car to be alongside the other, my driveway is the type of driveway that can fit 3 cars. Because if you drive all the way to the edge where the back of the property line is, that basically lets a car go alongside the stairs to the side door on the side of the house. But before that point, there is enough room for 2 cars to go side by side. Mm-hmm. But it's a bit of a tight fit for 2 cars to go side by side.
So are you suggesting that your reliability issue with cars is such that you need a 3rd car now?
No, I'm suggesting that I needed to move my car to a more convenient parking situation. Because I pushed the car back so that the 2 cars are side by side so I can jump them easily when I was having battery problems. But I've since bought a solar trickle charger, and I've since determined that battery will start the car perfectly fine if I get under the car with a screwdriver and short the connections on the solenoid of the starter.
Incidentally, I hope you realize that you should disconnect your solar charger before you crank your engine.
Yes. Oh,
Gators.
Why that isn't an automatic thing in these things is beyond me.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
go ahead, Mars.
This is what you need to do. Instead of the screwdriver to short it, you need to put a Wi-Fi connector up there so you can push a button on your phone to connect it to turn it on and off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I can get past inspection, but I could try. I guess I could, from the waiting room, look for the guy to turn the key and then hit the button on my phone at the same time he turns the key.
Same time.
So he thinks he's starting it normally and doesn't know that there. Okay. Anyways, so the point is that I decided it'd be better if I turned the car around and backed it into the spot by itself on the end of the driveway next to the steps. That way it's parked with the engine side, facing out from there, so I can continue to work on it, and I could also, if I need to jump it, pull the good car up to it. So I'm like, well, it did leak a bunch of transmission fluid the last time I started it. Let's see if it still has enough transmission fluid in it to go into gear. So I got under the car with a screwdriver. I shorted it out, got the car to start. Car runs fine. No transmission fluid spewing out. Some smoke started coming up. It smelled like burning oil or burning stuff. I did have a bunch of transmission fluid that leaked in there a week ago when it burped that up. So that's probably burning on parts that are heating up. Maybe some oil dripped somewhere. So nothing started on fire. But it did smell like burning oil for a while, but this car hasn't run in a while. That problem will probably sort itself out if I let it run. So then I with the car running, I jacked the car up, took the stands out, lowered the car back down, put the car into reverse. It wouldn't quite move. It had some resistance. I said, oh crap, I almost forgot about that. Moved the car forward a bit, put it back into park, got out behind the car, took the block out from behind the tire that I was using to wedge in the
Oh my God.
This one dude says, nope, I'm done. I'm just going to shut it down now.
It's called, I'm driving to the dealer. Bye.
I'm driving over
I'm driving to Carmack. How much can they give me?
So I get the block out from under the tire, throw it back in the back of the car, get in the car, shift in reverse, pull out of the driveway into the street, back into the driveway. So the car does still move into gear and drive perfectly fine, at least enough to turn around in my driveway. So I just need to get it to start.
You might want to top up that transmission fluid at least once.
Oh, I am planning on topping off the transmission fluid. I do plan on doing that. I plan on if I could get this electrical problem sorted and get the car back to a state where it will start by turning the key, I'm going to do 2 things. 1, I'm going to top off the transmission fluid. 2, I'm going to, for the first time ever, do my own oil change all by myself. And then I'm going to take it down, and then I'm going to call down the street to schedule an inspection and see what happens. And if it passes inspection, I guess the next step is to figure out how to install an 8-track deck in this thing.
Yeah.
But no, there'll always be, when you own an old house, there's always something of content. Sparky saying of Steve, this guy reminds me of someone who drives a Volvo. Those people are eccentric.
I think it's right, exactly right.
And if Steve Gutenberg had no money, he'd be driving a Volkswagen Jetta. Honestly, just saying.
Sparky rating in, Johnny, can you call him and ask what he drives? Tell him you're asking for a friend. Oh, I don't think I actually have his number. You know what? He called me. I never made a point to jot that number down because, well.
Oh, you should have taken that one to you called your cell phone, right?
I wasn't going to call him unless he invited me to call him.
Yeah, but you should have just taken his.
I should have
taken the number and put it in your contacts immediately.
I should have, but I didn't. That's my loss. Now, back when I was talking about who's that murderer, Sparky's guess was Charles Manson. Yeah, Charles Manson. He did record music, though. I don't know if it was in stereo or mono.
Apparently, a number of the L.A. scene musicians knew him personally.
Manson?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was an aspiring musician. He just never broke in. And maybe that was what flipped him out.
Maybe he needed that wall of sound. Sparky writing in, Johnny going to have to do some massive editing on this stream. I don't know. And then Sparky said, time for popcorn. Be right back. And then Sparky.
He's looking at ceiling. Popcorn ceiling.
Sparky saying the same thing I said. Don't watch politicians, then watch Bugs Bunny.
There you go. There you go.
Sparky.
Or Rocky and his friends.
Now, Sparky also pointing out, don't chop off the tranny fluid until the car is good and warm.
Yeah.
Tranny fluid expands. And that's probably where I ran this on the first time I was filling the transmission fluid,
and
it
the
burped
oil
out
too, right?
a
Don't
bunch.
you want to keep it nice and warm for it to...
I don't think you want to do an oil change with it warm.
No.
I've never made a point to warm up the car to check the oil.
The procedure for doing an oil change in a Porsche is very complicated because there are warm cycles and cold cycles. You're doing partial changes. It's very bizarre. And that's why the dealer can charge you $800 for an oil change.
Now, Sparky says warm oil change is the best, but if the car is warm, there's parts that get really hot that you don't want to touch.
But Gators, think of it this way: how does oil handle if you have old oil in a frying pan? Yeah, old oil in a frying pan does not flow anywhere. But once you heat it up, it becomes liquidy. What you want to do is break down the viscosity of it when you drain it, so you get it all out.
Okay. I'm just kind of concerned of if I'm under there and I reach my hand to brace myself without thinking and I touch something hot accidentally.
Don't do that then.
I'm more likely, no one intentionally does that.
You could also wear gloves suitable for automotive work.
You can wear enough gloves, sir.
Okay, all right.
Just wear enough gloves, you'll be fine.
I don't know if I could just take the thing out, walk away, let it drain for a while, and then come back
what you do.
a half hour later.
That's what you do. You let it drain for a little while. You sit there and put a 5-gallon bucket underneath it, pull the little thingy and let it drain.
I used to listen to Car Talk, and I don't remember the details of this call, but I remember the reaction it got. Because the guy talked about some kind of unorthodox method he had, my paraphrasing, not his, of doing an oil change. And I think it involved, instead of taking the plug out, he only took the filter out, and he wanted to ask the Click and Clack their opinions on his method, and they go, well, I don't know why you would do it that way. I mean, what's the point of that? And how do you get all the oil to come out? And he goes, oh, once I take the filter out, I just start the car for a second and turn it off immediately. And that got a very strong, no, whoa, what the?
Well, that would get the oil out, but...
So just for a second, just long enough to get the oil out.
And not so long that it'll seize the engine. Yeah,
exactly. Just long enough to get the oil out, short enough to not seize the engine.
Actually, the real reason that guy would not admit is the last time he did an oil change the normal way, he cross-threaded the thing and used an air hammer to lock it back on, and it will never come out again.
Speaking of which...
Did you get an air hammer?
No, I
Oh,
fixed-
I was excited about that.
remember when the last problem I had was that when I took the nut off I took the nut and bolts off that was holding in the neutral safety switch, and then when I was trying to put the neutral safety switch back on, the nut that goes over the threads that basically is a pin that comes up the hole in the middle of the neutral safety switch, which also turns the middle part, but I couldn't get the nut to catch on the threads, and I thought it was because I might have damaged the thread some on that when I was using my hammer to tap it a bit to get the neutral safety to come loose and lift up off of this pin because it was a really tight fit. And I was able to fix that problem. I actually found a handy tool on Amazon that was really cheap. Heck, I'll even bring up a window that will show my address for everyone again. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Make sure to double check the address.
It'll show my zip code, but actually, no, I won't even position it there. Here we go. Let's go ahead, get on the right window here, and we will share my screen. And there it is, UTR, Universal Thread Restorer. And as you can see, it's got like a little like clip here that is spaced apart, so it wedges itself in between two threads, and you turn the device the direction of the arrows, and it basically clears out or retraces the threads properly. And I ran that on my troubled threads that I couldn't get the nut on about 3 or 4 times, and I finally got the nut to catch. So my neutral
So
safety
what you really have is a poor man's tap and die set.
Right, but I don't need to die. A tap and die is for creating threads. I guess you could use it to repair threads, but isn't the primary point
That's
of it
what
to
most
make...
guys use.
Okay. Well, I got a poor man's. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Although at
You know what?
$40, I don't see how that's poor man's version.
As long as it works, it doesn't matter.
$40. I didn't. Was it $40? I just had it
Yeah.
up in front of me. I didn't think it was that much. I think I might have got it on sale though.
Or it's like the recommended one is the $40 one. The regular one is $12.
Well, I'll be. It was $40. I really wanted to get this thing fixed.
Yeah, that's cool.
I thought I paid like I didn't think I paid $40 for that. Wow. I
Look
really
in your
was
history.
desperate.
Look at the. You look
No,
at
I'm
your
looking at it
history
right
and
now. You are absolutely right. I paid $40 for that.
Yeah. Well.
I've been
Oh,
buying
wow.
so many $20 parts. I thought that was another one of them. So yeah, Sparky calling it a thread chaser. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah. That's cool.
So the point is now I got the neutral safety back on. I also found some information about the wire color coding on the connector for a neutral safety, so I can better try to chase and determine if I am getting signal to that point or not. Although I think I already checked the right wire, and I think I'm not. Actually, no. I think I checked I think I need to check a different wire.
Of course, if you are using tap and die to clean up threads, you have to be very, very careful because you can also totally destroy the threads.
Yeah.
So you've got to be so gentle. You know, it's like caressing a baby's bottom,
Right. Well, this tool, it just
whatever that's like.
this
I'm
tool,
not a
I wedged
weirdo.
it, put it in real tight. Yeah, because that was the other problem I had with thinking about using I guess it would be a die that I'd use for my basically the pin that was coming up threads, because I'd have to get that to catch properly to also get it to make the threads properly. So I
Yeah.
really saw that as being more likely to make things worse than better. But so yeah, this tool was just what the doctor ordered.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Totally worth the $40.
Dr. Johnny, that's what you ordered.
Totally worth the $40.
Yeah.
So yeah, so my neutral safety is back in place. My car still won't start unless I start with a screwdriver, but when I go into gear, it moves around. Although it makes a rattling sound. Although I think it's been doing that for a while. I remember my first car was a 93, I think. A 93 Mercury Sable wagon, also in white. And that
that's
one,
the Mercury version of the Taurus.
right?
Yeah.
And that started having a rattling problem towards the end of its life, And I think the mechanic found the problem and fixed it. And he goes, yeah, it won't rattle anymore. I'm like, oh, what was that? He's like, oh, some of the heat shield came loose and was rattling around. I just took that piece of the heat shield off. It'll be fine.
No, 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 it's fine.
So I
Your feet may catch fire, but it's fine.
Sparky asking if the new or the old neutral safety switch is in place. Well, being that the new neutral safety switch didn't fix the problem, I put the old one back in. But I fixed the problem, so I should be able to take that nut off and put it back on again if I need to, and I've not returned the new neutral safety switch yet. I want to further trace where the problem is, and because it could be that it's a bad neutral safety switch and I have another problem, but I think it's more likely that I have another problem since the new neutral safety switch didn't fix the problem when I was testing signal with that in place and in the right position that it should have been sending signal to the starter cable. So, what a thought came to my mind. Let's see. Sparky writes in, rattle the catalytic converter screen is usually the issue. Okay. I'll have to Google where that is and check it. A little bit of duct tape. I'm sure I can get that in place. Duct tape will stop a rattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Duct tape
Okay.
can do many things.
There we go.
Yeah.
But but I need to what I need to do is, like I said, I've got some wiring information. Also, I found out I could buy a complete wiring diagram of my car for $15 off of eBay if I want to go that route. But
That's not bad.
that's
Jump
not
at it.
bad. I think I have enough information without that, though, from what I've found on that people have posted to forums. I've got some information on the wires that go to the neutral safety, so I think it's the blue and black wire that is the one I need to test if it gets a signal or not. So I could try to strip some of that one back and put my tester on there, and if I'm getting signal there, then that's supposed to go to a certain pin on. Basically, I've got forum threads where people start talking step-by-step things to do. So I'm going to run through
Good.
those steps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is go visit your dad sometime, turn the recorder on, and have a conversation with your dad of all this, and see where you went wrong.
Well, I know many of the places where I went wrong so far. One is I shouldn't have changed the starter without doing some better troubleshooting first.
Right.
I was like, from what I'm seeing, it's like 95% chance it's that. That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Take my credit card, please. That was
Right.
that was an expensive mistake. I won't make that one again. But yeah. But anyways, the 2008 car is in great shape now. They found that I had a leaking condenser, so they replaced that and recharged it. And they also found that the hissing sound that was coming from under the hood was not from the air conditioning. That was from some chewed up O-rings on injector number 6. And I don't know how that happened. But I'm like, wait, which injector is it coming from? And I'm like, because I had a guy replace number 3. Like, no, it's number 6. I'm like, okay, and so they're like, do you want to take it as is and deal with that somewhere else? You want us to take care of it? I'm like, you got the car. I want that hiss to go away. I need a working car. Just do it. So at the end of the day, the air conditioner condenser replacement and recharge, fixing the chewed up O-rings on cylinder number 6, all together came to $1,600.
Wow.
It's an expensive bill, but
Yeah.
considering that,
Well, you replaced O-rings on a piston, right?
I don't know. They gave me the old ones.
Did you say piston rings? Right.
I don't know. They said injectors, cylinder number 6. I don't know where or all I know is they gave me the old O-rings so I could see what they looked like.
Oh,
Plus-
O-rings. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you piston rings. No, that would be a lot more.
They said, here, have your O-ring back. We don't want it. It's all chewed up.
Yeah,
can't
well, they
use
wanted me
it.
to see what the problem was. 'Cause
Maybe
when
you
I-
could use it as a space shuttle launch.
Well, when I told them that a guy worked on the car and changed one of the injectors, they suggested that it was possible that these O-rings got damaged as a part of that job being done.
Maybe?
Which
Yeah,
gives
but it's
me,
a different one. That was they worked on 3, not 6, right?
yeah, but he did. I don't know. Maybe he worked on. Maybe he. I don't know what else he was doing while in there.
Was he swapping some around to try different things out and found and
Well,
he
I
was
wanted
playing
him
with 6 as
to,
well?
but he wouldn't do that. He said, "No, if you're going to pay the labor,
Oh.
I should change the part." And I'm like, "Fine,
I see.
replace everything on cylinder 3." But cylinder 6 shouldn't have been buried under those things, I don't think. But anyways, all I know is that it doesn't hiss anymore, and $1,600 got me new air conditioning and everything, and this O-ring problem. And also, there was a recall repair that needed to be done on my car that I didn't know about, where they needed to reprogram something as part of a recall. So they took care of that for free while they had the car.
Oh yeah.
Well, those recalls are all free anyway, but yeah.
If I knew
But it got
about
it done. That's
yeah,
good.
I didn't even know about it. So,
You should look to see if there's a recall on the other car. Oh look, they fixed the ignition in a recall.
yeah, that might not be a bad idea.
You look to see if there was recalls on that car and see.
Hey, any
honestly,
recalls on 2003 Ford Taurus wagons? Asking for a friend. Yeah, I'll just bring that right by. You have a screwdriver?
Can you sign up
Driver.
with Ford? Can you sign up with Ford to get the recall announced directly to you where you are now?
Probably. I have to look into
Probably
that.
worth doing.
That'd be funny. Drive up to the Ford dealership in the 2003 Ford Taurus. Get out of the car. Like, now, before I turn it off, I need you to understand, if you're going to put it where you want it to be. Because the only way you're going to get it to start again is with a screwdriver underneath.
Right. Here's how you do it.
Where do you want it to be parked where you'll be able to get under it with a screwdriver?
actually, they have things. They have There's a guy I watch called there's a guy I watch Vice Grip Garage, and he has a thing that he puts in the wolf. I can't remember what it is, but you basically a button that he connects to it, and he pushes it, and it starts the car.
Well,
And
yeah.
he does troubleshooting from underneath the hood.
I could put a button in easily. I mean, Dune's yelling at a scream. I told you to put a button in. Yeah.
Oh, is that what he says? He wants
I
you
just
to put a
can't get
button
it.
in
I can't get it past inspection like that, though.
with a button.
No, they won't let me do that. That bypasses
Why?
the
There's so
safety.
many cars that have push button starts.
Well, that work properly. This would bypass the neutral safety switch, and one of the inspection requirements is that all the safety features work. And neutral safety switch has safety right in the
Needs to be
name of the
safe
part.
on neutral. It's not going anywhere.
Or what you do is you see if the car will take a crank.
A crank. It's like the old school. He puts it in the front and he cranks
Yeah.
it to start it.
Could I use the crank from my Victrola on the car?
Maybe.
Probably not. Probably needs to be a little
He's
heftier.
got this big hole in the front to crank his car start.
What is funny? Some of those early cranks were such safety problems that if you did it wrong, you'd be guaranteed breaking your wrist
Hmm.
because they'd come around and snap you in the wrist.
Yep.
It's like, oh, that's a good safety feature.
Yeah. I don't know. Could you wear a wrist guard? Would that help?
Probably have to be a little heavier than that, but
Um,
you're on the right track, I think.
a lead wrist guard?
Right. Steel-toed wrist, whatever.
Yeah. Steel bracelets?
Or rip your thumb off. Yes, Marky, you're right.
He didn't need that thumb. He has a second one.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
that's the
And,
type of-
and hey, once it's gone, you've got no more thumb problems.
yeah. If it kicks back.
Yeah.
I guess we'll rip off the thumb. Yeah. All right. Well, man, our topics got us through most of the show.
Yeah.
Now, Brian,
absolutely.
you were away on a trip last week, or you were coming
Yeah,
back
I
from
went
a trip
camping.
last week.
I went
We're
camping.
Camping.
Yeah.
Now, does camping involve a tent or a camper?
Okay, so the original plan was, and I started this a month ahead of time, find a travel trailer a small one that my vehicle has a towing limit of 5,000 pounds. Should be able to find a small one
Yeah.
that I could tow up to the campsite and use that. Okay. And in fact, I did. A guy had one available in Fairfield. You know, it's a good jump start on the way to north. We were camping near Lassen National Park.
Oh,
By the
okay.
way, it's a nice park.
Yeah.
Although there was a shitload of snow there still. But not where we were. We had heat and we had freaking mosquitoes. You
Ooh.
get up to the park. We could only get to the visitor center at the park, and the road was closed there. This is at the south end of the park. You could walk in about a mile and a half. You could see mud pots and that sort of thing.
Oh,
That
neat.
was cool.
Yeah,
You know,
mud
and,
pots are
and
really
stinky stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, the place is called Sulphur. The Sulphur Works, where you could walk up to. You could go a little further, but you really couldn't. There wasn't anything there.
Brian, did they have a mud hot spring for you guys?
Not that was open.
Okay.
No. We were wanting to go to the hell's the guy's name? Something rather Bumpass. Bumpass. He's a guy about 100 years ago was leading a group up to see the mud pots,
That's that one.
and he stepped on the crust of the mud pot, and he fell in.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the people on tour pulled him out, and he had severe leg burns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But kind of a
There's
cool
reason to
story.
bubbles. Yeah.
We didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was going to get this trailer. It was going to be beautiful. It was going to be exactly what we wanted. Last minute, the guy tells me, "Oh, unfortunately, I found I have a huge problem with that trailer, so I have to cancel that order. Now I can offer you my RV instead."
Brian went glamping.
And it was, the trailer was of about a 20-footer. This RV is 24-footer, so not that much bigger. And he actually cut the price down, so it was a little bit higher than the trailer. So I says, okay, I'll do that. So I went up with this RV instead of with a trailer.
Okay.
So and this other guy shared the expenses with me, and he so I wasn't doing this solo. I was with this other guy.
Cool.
As a first time guy with all the amenities of a glamp machine,
Yes.
we
Brian went
did
glamping.
some mistakes.
It's okay.
Okay.
The freezer seemed to work fine. There was a refrigerator and freezer.
At least
The
there-
refrigerator
this freezer
didn't get
works
that
fine.
cold. And after I turned it in, the guy says, "Oh yeah, there's this little thing that's on these fins that you slide up and down. No marking at all. How the hell would you know that was a control?" But it didn't really need it anyway. The number of large coolers with bags of ice at this camp get together with these guys was hugeormous. So there was plenty of ice, plenty of coolers. It was fine, and the food was really good.
And you walk far enough, there's snow.
And
What?
Sparky.
I said you walk far enough, there's snow.
Yeah. In fact, at the visitor center, there was this this snow cave against the building.
Oh, neat.
It was really cool. One guy walked through it, and we took his pictures and stuff like that. And I says, "Oh, here's a hiking stick. Why don't you poke at it and see if it'll collapse on you?"
Did he?
Didn't. No, he didn't, and I don't think he was amused.
I would have done it.
Now,
I know you would.
Sparky writes in, did Brian find the trailer on Craigslist?
Negative.
That
Actually, I was using Camping World.
I-
There are at least 3 outfits that you can own. A guy that owns a trailer or an RV can rent. One is through Camping World. One is through RVshare.com. And the third one is an outfit called Campdemodium.com.
Campdemodium.
So it's like a mobile Airbnb.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well,
Exactly.
I think Sparky was remembering that time that Lulu was here and had a story about how her mother's boyfriend and her mom found this really cheap trailer on Craigslist, and it was the type of thing that it was an obvious scam that they're just trying to get someone to send the money and then come to pick it up at just mail a money order, and it was funny because Lulu was trying to explain to the boyfriend, like, no, it's a scam. And he's like, well, we'll just get the money. We'll go there in person because that's a really good price for a camper. And she's like, no, you're not getting it. There's no kit. He's like, no, well, that's a good price. We can't just let that go. And they listed it. So if we show up with the money, they'll have to give it to it. It's like, no, this isn't a legally binding thing. They're not going to give you an address where there actually is a camper that you can buy. Like, no, this is a scam. It was and Sparky going bingo. Yeah, that was a funny moment. That was
I think I remember that story. It was kind of like, holy shit, people get scammed because they're stupid. Yeah. In fact, I'm on Nextdoor, and I see these people post these things all the time, and I kind of go. At one point, did you just call the cops? You know what?
my favorite thing.
The fuck?
I saw this thing on Nextdoor. Someone's going around to all these places around here, and they're trying to sell somebody else's house.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, oh, because they came to my door. They go, hey, look, here's the three. Do you know? Do you live around here? I'm a realtor. Do you live around here? I go, well, yeah, you're at my door. They're like, oh, well, are you looking for a place? Because here's a 3-bedroom house for this price. So I get the flyer. I'm looking. I scan it, and I'm like, wow, that's really cheap after she leaves. And then about 2 hours later, yeah, someone's trying to sell my house. And I'm like, oh, God, yeah. You want the flyer? I still have it.
Oh, speaking of scams, I had a bit of a wake-up call and a oh, fuck moment this past
Alexa,
week.
Stop.
And this was on the day that I had to go pick up the car. So this is one of these moments where I really wanted to get to the bottom of this, but I had to wait, and it really sucked. Because I get the call that the car is ready to pick up. So I wrap up what work I can, and I get to a point where, it's close enough to the end of the day. I could be like, hey, dude, I'm signing off. Could you cover the queue the last half hour? Yeah, cool. And I go pull up the Uber app and book an Uber. So, it finds an Uber that's on its way here. And, while I'm waiting for the Uber, I go out and check the mail, and there's some very official-looking envelope from some department of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So I'm like, this looks important and official. I better open it. And I open it up, and it was basically a letter letting me know about the stuff that I need to do to still be in good standing to continue collecting unemployment. And I'm like...
Did you say woohoo?
I was like, wait, what? No, no woohoo here. It was like, call this number to book the seminar. This is required to be, considered actively looking and participating to continue receive, failure to failure to do this can result in a denial of your unemployment or, and I'm like, unemployment? Why is my name in the system for unemployment?
And is there something I don't know? Uh-oh.
And my thought is, one of three things. 1, amnesia. 2, fraud. 3, my employer was nice enough to submit me for unemployment as a part of firing me and haven't told me yet.
Right.
And in reality, I was 99.99% sure it wasn't number 3. But there's that 0.01% that you really want to stomp out as quickly as possible. But my ride to pick up my car is on its way here. I don't have time to sort this out. So the whole Uber ride to the Ford dealership to pick up my car, I'm like, no, my boss is on vacation. He'd wait till he gets back from vacation. Or maybe he decided to have this done while he was away. No, he wouldn't do that to me.
You notice he didn't rule out amnesia.
Sparky asking, when is the last time Johnny collected unemployment? That would be a big fat never. No. I've always lined something up or left something on my own terms that wouldn't make me eligible for unemployment.
Yeah.
That's Sparky writing.
Anyway, time for a raid.
let me finish the story.
Yeah. I'm just warming you up.
So we are going to look for a raid, but so I get back with my car and I call up the offices, which I had to call to around a few offices to finally get a person that I could talk to. And there wasn't a number listed for the fraud department right on the first letter, which would have helped. But eventually I get, because there's basically like, if you need to call one of our many offices. And so I basically was calling all the different local offices, and some of them had voicemail boxes. Some of them said call us back during office hours, even though it was within the office hours that the automated voice listed. Some of them rang a bunch and never picked up. Finally, I got one of the offices that someone picked up, and she asks me for my information and all that, and she pulls up the account. And the first question she asks after she verifies my information and pulls up the account is, sir, did you make this claim? And so immediately she saw that it was questionable that I actually made this claim. And it's like, no, I did not make any claim. In fact, I don't even know why there is a claim or what claim there is. That's why and she explained, well, someone's fraudulently entered your claim. I'm like, is the claim under my social security number? And she goes, yes, it is. It's under my, yes. It's
Mother.
That's what
do you think you have identity theft?
well, clearly I do for this. So that had me on high alert right there. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Someone has my name and social security number and is using it to profit. So I was like, what the fuck? How did this happen? And so basically she goes, well, don't worry. You fill out the fraud claim, and it will be marked as invalidated. It won't be on your record or anything, or it'll be marked as fraud. And you might.
So I wonder if any money had been shelled out to this character.
For the past month, they've been collecting. Yes.
Oh shit.
Wow. So
the
they
person-
have an address?
Wait.
Are they sending checks, or is it all electronic?
Probably electronic, but that's
Yeah.
up to them. They can't tell me anything more.
A
than
lot of
that.
times
Yeah,
they'll actually send them a card. They'll actually send them a card, Brian, and they'll get it installed like that. They'll just send.
Now,
it
what's been happening in California is if you're collecting unemployment, they give you a debit card from the Bank of America.
Right.
And a lot of those cards have been tapped as if this fraud is an inside deal.
Mm-hmm.
So
Huh.
someone at unemployment offices are scamming these numbers out there, and these accounts are getting hit. I mean, it's very widespread.
So
Probably in the number of millions of dollars.
So I started asking the question, like, how did someone get my social security number? And then Kristen reminded me, because she overheard some of this conversation happening.
Yeah.
Our insurance company that our medical insurance benefits are through recently had a breach that a bunch of their data was compromised.
Sucks.
So one thing I will say is that it is a whole lot easier to freeze your credit with the three agencies today than it was. I remember some years ago there was a massive breach, and it was a big issue how difficult it was to freeze your credit. You had to call the three agencies, and they would charge you to put a freeze on it, and they would charge you to take it off.
Right.
But then at some point people complained, and so they made a free but they didn't make it officially free, but they had like a kind of a complimentary period of time that they were waiving the fees. Well, now it's just plain free and can be done like that through their website, through all three of them. So
Right.
I will give the credit agencies credit for improving the situation.
You
'cause
wonder how many lawsuits against them happened before they went to Be Nice Guys.
Well, I think it was one of those situations that it was so bad last time that even if there weren't lawsuits, they probably saw the tide changing and had some meetings where like, oh shit, we better do this before they force us to.
Right.
Then we could take credit for it. But all I know is I went to all three of the sites, Experian, TransUnion, the other one that starts with the and signed up and put the freeze on all three of them. Got my free report from all of them. Looked over them. There were no additional lines of credit on any of these reports in addition to anything that I already have. So it looks like whoever got my social security number hasn't opened anything up. At least not that's registered on any of my credit reports, and I've frozen anything now. I probably should check my credit again. a little bit down the line to make sure that they didn't.
You should check it every 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, well, I know it used to be you could get one free report a year. I think it's more frequently now that you can get it, but it used to be once a year you could get it. So they say check it once a year. But that's old words
Sure.
of wisdom. That
Sure.
every 2 weeks might not be a bad idea if you could get it for free every 2
I don't
weeks.
have credit cards, so I don't know. I don't have any of that stuff.
So your credit score is 0, Mr. Dave Ramsey. But
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're completely off the grid.
Well, credit, yeah. I mean, I have Visa check card, but that's about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. If you could do that.
I have.
You know, a lot of credit cards offer you
Yeah.
a credit score,
Yeah.
so you can sort of, on the cheap,
I mean,
on the low end, you can monitor it that way.
I mean, I
Yeah.
I do have like a what is it like? It's a silver, platinum, whatever card they sent me in the mail. I never did anything with it. I just stuck in a box and said, "There, that's nice." So I don't know.
Now, Sparky
Yeah.
writes in, damn Russians. I think if you're a victim of fraud, you can get more reports than someone who's not a victim.
Oh.
Well, I got my 3 free reports. Nothing showed up on them. I'm going to follow up on that also and see how often I can get free reports and make sure. But everything's frozen now. So the only thing I got to worry about is if someone opens something before I froze
I think it's with Experian. You sign up for basically the login. You can log in anytime and check it, and it's all free.
I'll have to check that out. I
Yeah.
basically just went from one to the next and I was like, freeze them, look at them, see if I need to make more phone calls.
Yeah.
Okay, dodge the bullet. But I suppose it's possible someone opened something up that is so new it hasn't showed up on the reports yet.
Yeah. Right.
And got in, but it's unlikely. Most likely, they just did this easy fraud claim thing, and I froze things just quick enough to shut down. Maybe that was all they.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all they wanted to do was just the unemployment scam. Maybe that's the easy thing to do.
Yeah. Right.
But I know, because I know my dad had a situation where someone opened up a loan in his name, and they didn't even have his social security number. They didn't have his correct address.
Yeah.
They opened it up with the bank that we banked with.
Yes.
Now, mind you, it was a large bank, and they opened it up with a different branch that was not local to us, but still
Right.
within the same system. And
Yeah.
that was, and the problem.
Well,
with
that's
that,
still the bank's fault.
Well, the problem, it went beyond the bank though, because the problem is that the guy took the money, ran, the bank foreclosed on the loan or the mortgage or whatever, and the guy was a deadbeat. They couldn't find him, and so what the bank did eventually was they sold off the bad loan to a collection agency, and then the
Right.
collection agency found my dad's number and they started harassing him. So my dad called the bank, and the bank said, "Well, this is obviously fraud. You don't owe it. Don't worry about it." And then the collection agency calls him and harasses him more. My dad goes, "I talked to the bank. They said it's fraud," and they said, "Well, we're not the bank. We own the money. You owe that to us. You're responsible for that, unless you have a criminal report that proves that this was fraud." And so my dad had to actually make a police report to report the fraud, to send the paperwork.
I
to
would have
these
reported those
collections
guys
people.
as committing the fraud.
Well, the problem is what the collection agencies are doing is legal. So my dad had to jump through hoops to appease the collections agency because they're
Right.
not the bank. They don't care what the bank thinks or
Could
says.
you just hang up and
So-
put them on block?
Well, but they'll keep calling. They were calling my line because I had the same last name as my dad
Oh,
and
yeah.
lived at the same
Yeah,
address
I've
as my
had
dad.
that.
So
I've
they
had
were
that.
blowing up my phone too. Although I just connected it to dial-up and hung out in the Sailor Moon chat rooms, but I probably would have had a friendlier time
There's
talking to the
that.
collection
I see
agencies.
Sparky is arguing with himself on the chat between a RAV4 Honda, Honda CRV, and a Toyota RAV4.
Ah, yeah.
Excellent.
Well, no, we're a General Motors family. But
Yeah, I know. Too
and-
bad. Wait a minute. You have Fords, though.
my dad is, well, my dad mostly bought Pontiacs, but you can't buy
Yeah.
those now. But my dad, I think, has stayed within the General Motors family of cars.
And you have Fords, so that makes total sense.
Well, yeah, well, the Mercury Sable was my grandmother's, my
Right.
grandparents. my
Right.
grandmother's, and then when that died, I needed to buy something else. I said, well,
Right.
could you get me something like what I had? And so my dad found the Ford Taurus wagon, and then the Taurus X was also my grandmother's. So
Yeah.
I chose one of those, but basically
Yeah.
it's because my grandparents drove Fords.
Yeah.
But if I were going to buy something else now, I'd probably go with my dad's recommendations.
Right. Yeah, get a Toyota.
Yeah. No, well, let me finish the story. Where was I with this story?
Yeah,
yes.
hang on. I gotta split a second.
Okay. So you go ahead. I'll finish the story. So my dad had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get the collection agency off his ass, but also he had to get the bad loans off his credit report too, because that starts showing up there. And so it's just, annoying that
Pain in the
what's
butt.
yeah. So that's why I'm like, oh God, they did that without a social security number. Someone's got my social security number.
Yeah.
They could really make my life
It's identity
difficult.
theft,
But
Yeah.
I froze my credit. I don't know what else they can do with it, but I froze my report into 3 agencies. I gotta figure out how to keep an eye on other things too. But I got the big thing taken care of. They
Isn't
should've-
there an app you can do that will monitor those 3?
Well,
An
the
app
thing-
on your phone?
The thing is, being that all 3 are frozen, I'm not too worried about monitoring them more than normal because
What's
I
that
got
commercial?
freezes on them.
Freecreditreport.com? Is that
No.
the one?
no
No?
scam.
Is it a scam? I hear commercials for it all the time.
We've
And
told
it's cool.
this story.
They sing through the whole commercial.
We've told this story way too many times to tell it again.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. No, freecreditreport.com. Okay.
Freecreditreport.com is free with enrollment to CCC Advantage. In fact, I won't tell the whole story again, but I'll just review where the rub is. I don't even know if it's a thing anymore. I think Free Credit Reports.
I thought I heard the commercial like 2 days, a week ago.
Well, here's the thing you want to listen for.
I married my dream girl, but she didn't tell me her credit was bad. So now instead of living in a pleasant suburb, we're living in the basement at her mom and dad's. No, we can't get a loan for a respectable home just because my girl defaulted on some old credit card. If we'd gone to freecreditreport.com, I'd be a happy bachelor with a dog and a yard.
Oh. Well, there
they-
you go.
Well, I was shopping.
Oh, they faded out before the let's see if this one has it.
Offer applies with enrollment and triple advantage.
There it is. Triple Advantage.
Oh.
Report.com, baby.
Yeah,
Offer
that's
applies with
not that
enrollment and triple
commercial. I
advantage.
hear that one.
Triple Advantage is not free, but freecreditreport.com is free, but it comes with your not free enrollment in Triple Advantage.
Oh. Okay, I won't use that.
That's the scam.
Okay.
And notice how they have this nice fun jingle
Too lazy now.
that's easy to remember, and it's a fun song.
Sticking to the vinyl and my posse's getting laughed at.
I mean, that tells you the free part, and then
Offer applies with enrollment and triple advantage.
not even 2 seconds. That little blurb does a lot of heavy lifting there that turns free into not
Okay.
free.
Okay,
Yeah.
no free triplereport.com for me.
Nope.
Oh, well.
And I mean, that's the thing. You sign up for it, and as part of it, they do a verification check. And yeah, now to be fair, I did give them my credit card number, so I gave them the ability to bill me.
Did they
And
bill you?
yeah, they did. And then like 3 or 4 months later, I noticed, what the fuck is this shit? And I call them up, and I guess we are telling the story because we're waiting for Brian. And what I found was I did a Google search, and Google was able to feed me all the lines that got people refunds. Because the first thing they do is they argue, well, on page such and such, subsection, clause, whatever, is where you agreed to this service that will charge you this much. So that was your mistake, and we provided the service for you, and that's what you paid for. So they try to make you feel like you're the bad guy for asking for money back for a service that was provided for you for these months. We offered you this protection. We did this thing for you, and you told us to do it. Why should we give you your money back? You're robbing us, practically. And it's like, dude, that is not what I was agreeing to. And the name of the company is freecreditreport.com.
Okay,
It's
don't
called
sign up for that one.
right. So now Sparky points out there is a free government site to get your report. Exactly.
Oh, good.
And it's not nearly advertised nearly as much as freecreditreport.com, unfortunately.
The jingles aren't as good, I bet.
The jingle's not as good. No, the federal government's not good at coming up with a good jingle.
Federalgovernmentreport.com. It'd be boring.
Federalgovernmentreport.com.
Hey, look at that.
That would
Thank
be
you,
better.
Sparky. The more I got, though.
Yes. So, words of wisdom from Gators. Go, if you have not frozen your credit on the 3 agencies, go do that. It's real easy to do through the website. I got it done in like 15 minutes. I should have done it sooner, and I didn't, and I got really lucky. So those are Gators' words of wisdom for this week. Don't be like Gators who waited well, I guess if you're going to do it right now, you are going to be like Gators. Be like Gators. Realize you've made a mistake and fix that right away. Because up until now, Gators has been a...
You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're grade A, number 1, bona fide, first class. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. And you'll be one all your dumbass life.
And sometimes you fix it with a screwdriver, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah. Actually, I was a dumbass, and then I fixed it. And now I got lucky.
Screwdriver.
Yeah, with a screwdriver. Well, we'll see.
Can you just like pop a paperclip in there or something? I don't.
To be honest, I really wanted something that offered me an insulated handle. I don't think a paper...
Wrap a little electrical tape around one end.
I suppose I could try a paper clip on the connector from the neutral safety. See what that does.
Paperclips work. Paperclips fix everything. I would have from MacGyver.
You know, that reminds me of another car talk story where the guys are standing in this room where there was like a light bulb in a socket on the ceiling, and instead of a pull string, there were 2 stripped wires that were dangling alongside of the light bulb. Obviously, the method of turning on this light bulb was to twist the wires. And I guess the 2 guys looking at this at these wires are getting into a debate as to whether or not it was safe to touch these live wires and twist them together to turn on the light. And one's saying, I don't know, the power that runs through that, oh no, but it'll be fine. It'll just, no, but it will. And while they're debating, a 3rd guy walks into the room, walks right past them, reaches out, twists the wire, light bulb comes on, walks out of the room.
That works.
Dang.
So I'm not suggesting that you should try that, but that's the story I heard.
I might.
And I heard it on Car Talk.
Burned, but I might.
And Sparky warning us that we need to stop talking about Brian.
That's right.
Anyways, we are going to go ahead and we are going to raid. Who are we going to raid? We're going to raid Symbols, which is a stream that is showing a bunch of wires patched on synthesizer equipment that's running some cool synth stuff. So, but anyways, before we do that, we do try to be educational here. So once again, thank you for tuning in to another fun-filled edition of
Insert title here.
But we do try to be educational here. So, Mars, what have you learned this week?
I've learned that your credit report is frozen, but not your T-bone steaks.
That wins the internet.
That's the best one.
That wins the show. I should have started with Brian. All right, Brian,
That's
can you
right.
top that? What did you learn this
At
week?
this point, it's this point like I didn't learn a damn thing compared to Mars. Oh, that's good. That is too good.
And I learned that what have I learned? Man, have I learned anything here?
Sparky learned.
Sparky learned that Johnny is the proud owner of a Frigidaire fridge.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
I didn't learn anything on this show, but I think this show has been an expression of what I've learned this week, which is I really need to keep an eye on my credit reports. Extended warranties are a scam that only pay out if you work the system, and even then, they just about pay out worthwhile amount.
Really?
And my clothes smell like wet dog. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to raid Symbols. And thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll be back next week. And if you guys on the Quadcast like this, I'm over on the Johnny Gators channel every week doing this. So thank you for watching. You all have a good night.
See ya.
And now we'll raid the Twitch channel. And unfortunately, you on the YouTubes don't automatically get raided to the Twitch. But if you go to twitch.tv/Symbols, SYMBOWLS, you can see what we rated, which is some synthy
noises.
stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds very slow this week, though.
Okay, just played the duet. Oh wait, that's live.
All right, we'll go ahead.